I don't know where Logical Line is. I'm sure he'll show up eventually. I did run across this kid, though, today, man. This is some extremely funny stuff, in my humble opinion. This is Prankster Locke is the name of this young person. He did respond to me. I set up something on his video. Was like, hey, man, this is some funny stuff. Are you still around? Some are shorter than others, but like I said, I don't see logical lines. So I think, and I didn't really have anything planned for right this moment. This is idea brung about by Lion to talk about the Ben Shapiro, Cenk Uygur debate at Politicon, whatever you want to call it. The debate, I don't know, man. It was sound thrashing. That's basically what happened. Ben Shapiro just stomped the heck out of Cenk Uygur. I guess I shouldn't say much like that, because as it is now, we should all go into it with an open mind. But when I went into it with an open mind, that's what I observed. Hi, Butter. I've been kicking around your story like a frickin' $3 whore in Tijuana. And we'll see. I talked to Whitey about it, white YouTuber, and I put some feelers out there to a couple other people. I really need to shoot it by Holly Seelger and see what she thinks about it. She has quite a few followers, subs, whatever you want to call them, and also she's just an excellent individual. I just ran across this kid, though, like I was saying, Prankster Locke, and I'm always down for trying out my equipment and seeing if I've got my program down as good as I think it is. And let's see, boom, yep, there he is. Look at that, right? Oh, see the kid. And but the only problem that I have is I can't play his audio, as most of you already know, and my audio at the same time, so I have to make a choice. At this time, I'm going to choose to play the kid here, and y'all will have to go without hearing me for a moment. This kid breaks me down. We'll see how long we let it go.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. You know, just about to shoot some fireworks at my neighbor. It's 4th of July.
You are getting a $100 gift, okay?
Oh! Is it a 4th of July gift? Thank you. They hung up quick.
Thank you for calling. Are you calling to claim your $100 Walmart gift card?
Yes, that is correct. Will I be able to? Will I be able to buy cigarettes with the gift card?
Yeah, what you're receiving is a $100 Walmart gift, which you can use at Walmart and Target, Best Buy. You can also use this card at Best Station for paying your bills, okay?
That'd be a lot of cigarettes to buy. Hey, I'm actually trying to be a little more hip. Do you think saying yo is pretty cool?
You're calling to claim your $100 gift voucher, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, ma'am. I just want to inform you that you are a lucky customer today, one of the lucky customers. So we are going to ship your card in 4 to 5 business days to your address. So I'm going to take down your address, your name, your state, wherever you stay, okay? And I also want to tell you that we don't have any catch or strings attached, but you have to take care of one-time shipping and handling charge, which is $4.95. But I won't take any money from you right now. First, you will get your $100.
Are you going to be a rapper when you're older? Because like saying it so fast, I'm like, you know.
Okay, I'll explain it to you slowly, ma'am, right now, okay?
And there you go, assuming my gender. You call me ma'am. It's 2017. You can't be doing this.
So, ma'am, you got to
And there you go again. You're assuming my gender. No, don't even. You're assuming my gender. I'm tired of it. This is sexist. This is ridiculous. You can't be doing this. It's 2017. Say, sir. Oh, that's my gender. Hello?
He goes, and then he hangs up.
Thank you for calling. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. How may I assist you? Are you calling to claim your $100 gift?
Yeah, you call me. Are you my ex?
believe you're calling to receive $100 of a shopping gift vouchers.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
ma'am, this will be shipped to you in next 2 business days at your regular mailing address. And just to receive this, all you need to do, you just have to take care of a one-time small activation fee of $4.95. Okay?
Oh, okay. That is, but I'm assuming, you know, it seems 100% legit. I doubt it would be a scam, because that would be so rude if it was a scam.
No, this is not a scam.
Yeah,
I will be providing you a 14-digit confirmation number, which will be a legitimate proof for the same conversation. Okay, ma'am?
That'd be so rude if it was a scam. So I believe you.
Yes.
Yeah. Who does scams? That's so rude, you know.
These are the secured lines. This call has been recorded for quality and training purposes.
Okay.
So we don't give any fake statement over the recorded line. Okay, ma'am? And how you spell your first name slowly?
Is it, you know, it's summer. I'm not supposed to really be thinking. So I just, you know, I don't really like thinking over summer. So you can figure it out. It's your job.
So how you spell your first name, ma'am?
Ma'am, okay. Yeah, I guess since I haven't hit puberty, I do sound like a girl, so that is fair enough. Okay, so it's T-I-M-O-T-H-Y.
Okay. So just to pay this $4.95, which card do you hold? Is it your Visa or a Master?
No, I'm not really a master, but yeah, I do get your point. It was very nice of you to call me a master, but no, you don't have to call me master. You don't have to bow down. You don't have to do any of that. I just, so I guess Visa. Visa, please.
Could you read me the Visa card number? Okay, what's your question?
I just, I'm a little guy, and I don't really understand how they work.
You don't understand how what works?
The black cats. I thought black cats are sold at PetSmart, the Petty Smart.
Well, you just need to. Black Cat's a brand name, but I don't really think from the way you're talking that you would even need fireworks. But Black Cat's a brand name, so thank you for calling.
Well,
that's the brand name of the fireworks.
What do you mean that's the band of the fireworks? I don't understand. I didn't know the fireworks had a band. I have a question.
Okay.
Are they? You're saying they're fireworks, but are I kind of confused? Are they fireworks or are they pets?
They're fireworks.
Because I'm.
Black Cat is the name of the fireworks. Black Cat makes the fireworks. It's the brand of fireworks.
So, like.
Okay.
It's.
All right. Thank you. I don't have any more time for these questions. I don't know.
But that's your job. That's your job. I'm trying to buy a black cat, and you're giving me a hard time. I don't know.
I don't sell cats, sir. I sell fireworks.
Okay, but like.
And I know what my job is, and thank you for calling.
Okay, but are they black cats or are you?
Thank you for calling Fireworks Supermarket. How may I help you?
Hello, my grandson called about the African American cats, and there was a lady being a little bit rude.
Hello?
Hello, you're hurting my ears.
Can I help you?
Is that my hearing aid? We're disconnected like all my hopes and dreams.
What is up, y'all? My name is Dixon Dempsey. Make sure to check out my channel. It will be in the description, and I'm gonna make him put it on the end of the video, because if he don't, I'm gonna choke slam him.
I could let that kid play a little bit more. Very smart humor. I mean, he's so young. And did you dig the voices he was doing? Hi, RPR. Hey, Mole. What's up? Mole, the famous Mole from the Stream of Consciousness stream. I hope all y'all are checking that out. The Stream of Consciousness stream on Saturdays on the Stream of Consciousness channel. If you used to watch it on Staggerson Jag's channel, well, get with the program, man. It's on the Stream of Consciousness channel. Make sure you run by there and sub there too, of course. I mean, Logical Lion's supposed to be here, folks. So all I'm going to say is I don't pawn my channel out. Some people, I'm not going to say pester, but some people know how to apply the right kind of, I'm not even going to say pressure. I don't know how to put it. But so far, 2 people have come on this stream and actually hosted the stream while I was there. They were in charge. You know, I'd run it, whatever, do the producing of it while they did the thing. And that's Clint, Big Red Clinton Cox from Review the Earth, Review the Music, Review the Politics, the review guy. And then it was Logical Lion. So if he don't show up, it's not like I'm going to spank him or we won't do this again. But come on, Lion, I got your damn name up here, man. What do you want from me, dude? What do you want from me? I'm over here working like a slave. No pay is what I mean by that. Plus I'm Jewish, and then, you know, we built the pyramids and they weren't paying back then. They were not paying. So thanks for the shout out. Oh, no problem there, Mo. In fact, while we're waiting, if you want to ask any questions, I reckon we can do that. I'm going to keep refreshing my thing and see if this young person from Prankster Lock is who that was. That's who we were just checking out. It was Prankster Lock. You can see it right here. Prankster Lock. A very, very funny kid. I don't know how else to say it. Watched him just not necessarily punk this magician, but I've only watched about 4 of his videos. I plan on, and 2 of those were live with you all here. I plan on watching many more. The guy really tickled my funny bone. Was extra, extra, extra good. So I don't know, any questions, any topics that came up that I didn't notice? Seems to be there was some kind of drama yesterday unfolding that the Britishers sent me. Somebody, what was that? It was right as I was getting ready to hit the sack too. Oh yeah, and of course we've talked since then. Some stuff went down last night. It was right as we were getting off air on the show. So let me see. Blah, 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 blah. Wow, we're really going back and forth quite a lot. Yeah, like I said, I'm not prepared. Sorry, folks. Well, I'm not even sorry. I'm just waiting. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Let me show you all this right here while we're waiting. This really shocked me a little bit. I mean, it bothered me a wee bit. It says Google and YouTube ban professor who refused to use gender-neutral pronouns. We all know who that is, right? Professor Jordan Peterson, the man, the legend. $58,000 on Patreon a month to do what he does because us people all want him to do it. I give him a little bit, but not just a drop in that bucket. But it says a professor in Canada who refused to use gender-neutral pronouns and criticizes social justice issues was banned from using his Google and his YouTube account Tuesday, regaining access hours later with no detailed explanation provided. Professor Jordan B. Peterson of the University of Toronto disputed Google and YouTube's decision to lock him out of his account, according to correspondence obtained by the Daily Caller News Foundation. Quote, "Please tell me what principles I've violated," unquote, said Peterson in his email to Google upon discovering that he was locked out of his account. Quote, "I have not violated any terms that I'm aware of and have not misused my account," close quote. The psychology professor has over 350,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, which he uses as a platform to post his lectures, interviews, and Q&As. Quote, "We understand you've recently been unable to access your Google account, and we appreciate you contacting us," end quote, said Google in a response. Quote, "After review, your account is not eligible to be reinstated due to a violation of our terms of service," close quote. But Google did not provide any detail regarding which rule the professor violated. This is something, I mean, you know, white YouTuber was ding-donging with me a little bit on the Twitter about Butter Cupcakes. I call her Butter, don't y'all? Call her Butter Cupcake. She's right up here. That's her picture right there. Funny kid, man. Funny girl. And she's a female, so she like makes jokes with her boobs sometimes, or she makes suggested how she put it yesterday was she wants to confuse your pants. She wants to make you laugh and also be aroused at the same time, if that's possible. And I just thought that was funny. Confuse your pants, I tell you what. And she gave the Britisher and I just a wonderful little chunk of voiceover yesterday. And this isn't going to be just about butter, but I do hope that the white YouTuber, maybe Sofane, maybe very nearly viral, some folks that I know that she knows and that I know also, in this community, no, I don't know. We don't go out to lunch or anything or take long, windy walks while we're holding hands. I mean, I don't know these people like that, but I'm acquainted with them online. And I hope that they kind of, give a small little rally around this young lady who's just strikes my funny bone, man. I tell you what, she confuses my pants. And the whole, she gave if I keep going, it will be just about butter. So who's next? If they can get Jordan Peterson, one of the calmest, most collected, cool-headed individuals there ever was. I mean, just a straight up, easygoing, articulate gentleman. There's no malicious ideas that he has. I mean, I've seen him doing a debate with this, I'm thinking it was a girl that wanted to be a guy. She was wearing another professor from Toronto, without going into what this person possibly was. But this person was saying, and by all means, it was Professor Pete. Can you believe it? And Professor Peterson and Professor Pete. But Professor Pete was saying, well, what I do is, because I don't run into it much, I take my smartphone and by somebody's name, when I put their name in there, I will put down the gender pronoun that they prefer. I'll put that down next to their name. That way I can remember it. Wouldn't you do something like that? That's simple. Professor Peterson's answer was, no. No. And she said, well, it's so easy to remember a name, or you got to remember phone numbers. And then Professor Peterson said, no, I don't remember names very well. I don't remember phone numbers very well. That's not what I'm good at. I don't have that kind of memory. I feel for him. Names go out of my head. I love this community's names. I love the Mole and RPR. I can never forget y'all's names. Space Bitch and Max Bear. I mean, I could go on and on. Beardy and Day is Dead, Amanda Wolfchild, the Brit. A group of people, it'd be hard for me to remember their names. When I do get a name here, Butter Cupcakes, I remember it. It's easier to remember. Why? Because I use strange mnemonics in my head. Oh, he had a power outage. There's Logical Lion. Hopefully he's coming in here sometime soon to save the show. I've just been rambling, Lion, since, when started. I didn't want to start too late. I mean, and this isn't a scheduled show, folks. Like I said, this is actually the Logical Lion stream. I'm just here to run the audio video for him while he gets some guests together, maybe Thorn or maybe the Mole. I have no idea who's coming on, who he's going to have on. And they talk a little bit about this Ben Shapiro, Cenk, the Cenk Uygur debate, if you want to call it that. I don't think it rose to the level of debate. So if they can ban Jordan Peterson, they can ban Logical Lion. They can ban myself or Conscious Caracal. Oh, look at that. Have you been here? And I just noticed you, or how long have you been here, Logical?
Hang on, I gotta find my mic. My fucking power just came back on. I gotta get the fan turned back on. Cool. That's the fun part about living in Southeast Asia, is that power outages happen at any time. Dude, I'm glad they came back on. I'm sitting here like freaking out. I was debating driving somewhere with my wife's phone and trying to connect with her phone. All right.
Well, there's no reason to ever worry. I just talk shit on you until you either showed up or I talked to you later. I was thinking it was something like that. I know you live in the middle of a rice paddy somewhere.
I do indeed. Oh, man. I've had a day. All right, so what's crack-a-lackin'? Hang on, let me close.
Well, before we go to what's crack-a-lackin', tell us that. Tell us about what's the day.
Okay, so the thing about living in Southeast Asia is that they don't really have the same respect for contracts as we hold in America. So when you rent an apartment, there's no guarantee that they won't just arbitrarily toss you out. So we get here, we spend about a month in a hotel looking at apartments. We looked at probably 3 or 4 apartments per day for about 3.5 weeks to find the perfect apartment that we just loved. Finally found it. It was super awesome, brand new construction. We rent it, sign a year lease. 4 days later, the manager comes up and goes, and this is back in March. 4 days later, the manager comes up and goes, sorry, we sold the building to some Chinese company. You're going to have to move out. And we're like, are you serious? We just signed a lease. And he's like, sorry, there's nothing I can do. But I have this other bigger apartment across town in a different building. No, he said, we'll keep the same price and everything. And I went over and looked at it. But the thing was, is this building that we're in now is old and run down. Whereas the one that we were moving into, even though it was a smaller place, was brand new construction. So there weren't any like cracks in the walls. The electricity was fine. You know, plumbing is fine, etc. No ants. So we said, oh God, okay, fine. Intending on, you know, doing about 3 or 4 months and then finding a new place. So a couple months go by, about 4 months go by, and my wife says on a whim, hey, why don't we go check the old place and see what the Chinese people have done? And I was like, okay, cool, that sounds like a good plan. So we drive out there. It's vacant. The Chinese people haven't even like bought the building. So we go and talk to the manager. This was last week, mind you. Went and talked to the manager, and she said, oh yeah, Chinese didn't come. And I said, well, cool, let's have our old place back. Can I reserve it? She's like, okay. And bear in mind, we got a translator, so to make sure that everything was clear. I said, okay, we'll reserve it. She jacked the price up $50 a month. And I said, okay, that's fine. I just want my old place back. We'll sign a year lease, whatever. Fast forward 4 days to yesterday afternoon. We go to move, literally go to get the truck to move. We go to that apartment. They have rented it to someone else.
Damn.
At that point, I said, you know what? Fuck you guys. We are moving at the end of this month. We're going to go find somewhere else to live. We are not renting from you anymore.
And you can find an apartment there relatively easy.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's the low season right now because it's raining like every day, so there's no tourists. And, man, there are so many places open. And they've got this new construction. So they're building the new construction that they're doing here. Looks like think of any New York movie with a big ad executive in his penthouse. And he's got this huge plate glass walls, basically. They're this, like, Art Nouveau style with just the front is just glass. Like, the front and side and 3/4 of the building is glass. It's really cool. And they're popping up everywhere. I don't know if it's French or what, but.
Well, I just was kind of wondering when you were saying that, I don't want to make everything about race, but I just think it's funny that all around the world it's okay to be a certain way, but in other places it's not. So do you think it has anything to do with you being a round eye?
No, I think it's just culture. I think it's culture. I think that they don't have the same. See, even though Asian culture is much older than American culture.
Wait, so in other words, if you had grown up there and looked exactly like you do, your family looked exactly like they do without getting in detail, because you look like the quintessential Midwest family, beautiful blonde wife, beautiful girl, everything, you know. So but you all lived there and you spoke the language, had the customs, kept the festivals, then you would have that apartment? No, I still wouldn't have it. It's okay, I don't think that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah, I don't think it's a race thing. I think it's a cultural thing. In that when you make them, because the mom, the lady that we reserved the apartment with made a mistake. She forgot that we had reserved it. It's a simple mistake. But in this culture, you can't call people on their mistakes. It's called it's called saving face. Obviously we use that term in America, but not nearly as often. In Asian culture, if you call someone on their mistakes, you dishonor them, and it's like a virtual slap in the face. So when I'm freaking out going, you told me this apartment was reserved and now you've rented it to someone else, you need to move them like you moved us 4 months ago. I'm in the wrong in their culture. Because I'm calling them out on their mistake. Yeah, they have no compunction, no onus, no expectation to make it right. And that's one of the hardest things about Asian culture, is that if someone fucks up, you can't call them on it. And so they have no responsibility, no onus to fix the mistake. Ramble on. Kiss my ass, mole. No, you're doing great. But the funny thing is you use colorful language. I do, depending upon the guest, I reckon. But I was having somebody come by. I was like, come on by and check out the lion. They're giving a little monologue here. And apparently as soon as they clicked on, the first thing they heard was, F you guys. So, I mean, give the guy a chance, man. He was in the military. The guy's a combat veteran. So, you know, if he...
No, I was never in combat. I was never in combat. My brother was.
Well, thank you for not just taking the glory for that, because I would have swore on the Bible that you were. I thought you were...
No, sir. No, I got injured, but I was never in combat. No, I was stateside, dude. I buried people. I buried other veterans. I buried real heroes. I was honor guard, folded flags, fired the gun, etc.
That's
No,
cool.
and that's why I have such a great appreciation for veterans, is because I spent 3 of my 4 years in cemeteries looking at their headstones.
Oh, we have one here. This little side story, in this tiny little town that I'm in, there's a population of about maybe 80, 100, very small in the city limit, very small. Maybe 800. That'd be a lot. Anyway, there's a cemetery, and one of the boys from this little tiny town passed away, Marine, shot and killed, in the line of duty in a firefight. And so they erected this. I mean, looks pretty funny in our little cemetery. They erected this, a granite stone, 6 feet wide, 10 feet deep, about 5.5, 6 feet tall, and with the big plaque on it, his picture with him and his, his dress blues, whatever they call it there in the Marines. Anyway, a kid thought it'd be a good idea, Logical Lion, to come and vandalize this, because of course they didn't put a camera on that in the trees where you couldn't see it. Of course they couldn't. And so this punk got drunk and went up there. I think he was like 17 years old. He wrote some stuff on this and whatever. His sentence, brother, on top of, I think he did 10 days in jail. They might have suspended that too, but for 1 year, he had to pull 8 hours a night, 5 days a week, guarding that.
Right on. Now, see, that's the kind of sentences we need, man. Our criminal justice system's a joke. We need corporal punishment.
That's how they do it up here, though. When you're young and dumb and do something dumb like that, they'll be like, okay, well, not only are we going to fine you to $5,000 and we could just make it a felony and ruin your life and put you in jail for a while with boys you don't want to meet. Well, instead of that, why don't we just, and it'll be something like that, clean the sidewalks. But that's the best one I know of right there. Never happened again.
And when we were kids, that kind of shit was normal. Like when you would get busted doing something stupid, the cops would take you home, and because they knew your parents would kick the shit out of them. Now, you act up in school, you're going to jail.
Yeah, well, it's saving face. I mean, it might sound like I just went on a wild tangent, but you talking about that made me, and plus that you buried servicemen and women, men probably mostly. They got me, Logical Line. I guess I just can't say servicemen anymore. I'm going, the inner SJW that's been forced on me through propaganda and repetition just comes out and says servicemen and women, and I'm, whatever. There you go.
The feminists have won. The fact that you arbitrarily do that, they have won that battle.
Changed my fucking language, dude. It's made me self-censor.
And I'm with you. I find myself watching shows sometimes, and if an off-color joke pops up, there's a split second where I go, oh, that was kind of racist.
Me too. And it's not, laugh. Right? And then it's like, man, that isn't either. That was just funny. I rewatched some Archie Bunker the other night on that topic. I rewatched the famous episode where Mr. Bojangles, what's his name? The black feller with one eye and the Rat Pack. Why can't I think of his name right now? Sammy Davis Jr.
Thank you. Got the S's.
he was the guest for the night. But what happened is it came up about Archie not wanting colored folks sitting in his chair. He didn't know it was going to be Sammy Davis Jr., one of his heroes, and as his character in the show. So he was just saying, I ain't never going to let no nigger sit in my chair, right? And, you could hear the laugh track go, drawing a breath. And right then, Sammy's at his door, and heard that. And then he had to explain himself. But it was a beautiful thing whenever I was growing up that, our society deemed it was necessary to explain why some people use certain language on all sides, but it wasn't like you can't say that, or Sammy didn't go away with like, this is a racist honky and I never want to see him again.
Well, I guarantee you that Archie Bunker episode converted more people against racism than anything any SJW has ever done. When you highlight the behavior, people cringe and go, fuck, I don't want to be that guy.
Yep.
Instead of looking at someone standing on a soapbox going rape culture, they're looking around going, wait, what? Where? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I've been working on this, man. I've got it like this now. I still don't have it, Lion, where I could actually push the button and let this guy talk. Well, I can, but you can't hear it. You can only hear me. And I will figure out how to make it so you couldn't hear Cenk, right?
No, I cannot hear Chunk. So you have headphones in right now, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. See, are you using OBS or you just what are you doing?
No, this is XSplit.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do it on OBS too. How do you want to do it then? You just want to do the drop the headphones and go open air again, and we'll just have a slight delay.
No. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna once you're ready too, and this was no pressure. I'm just showing you that I set it up in XSplit. I'm not sure if I had it that last time, but I fixed the frames per second, and I've got it to where it's actually a picture you can see. Because it was so blurry, you could hardly read like Logic Align or see the people up around the rim there. And so I changed some resolutions, did some other stuff. I didn't give them their $5 a month though. I'm still, it says XSplit there in the corner. That's because I'm just using it was free for 6 months. And like the only thing it won't let me do, they think it won't let me do, is broadcast the way it is right now. Don't ask me how I did it. And then it won't let me, I'm not supposed to be able to record in high definition while using the features of XSplit, but I'm pretty sure I figured out how to do that too. You can ask your computer to do a lot of things that programs don't want to let it do, but if you know how to ask it nicely, sometimes you can get your computer to do it anyway.
Yeah, unless your computer's a piece of shit and it restarts on its own.
Man, I got this Acer G6 Predator. I can't say enough about it, man. i7 quad core, 4 gigahertz processor with at the push of a button it goes to 4.6. Just a screaming demon. I love it. Yeah, well, and I was gonna build, because I built every computer I've had up to this point. I was gonna build this one, but before I just nerd out completely, what came in this Lion, I could not. I got this on there was a 2-day sale on Newegg, and I picked this up half price. No shit, 50% off. Otherwise, man, I couldn't have built one this nice. It would have cost me $3,000. But anyway,
yeah,
it's
that's
good
awesome.
to have a computer if you're doing this.
Indeed, and that's another advantage of living in Asia. I mean, there's tons of advantages living here. Obviously, there are disadvantages, but I think the advantages outweigh it. Is that my computer that I have here cost me about $300, and it is better than the computer I had in America, which cost me about $700. Electronics are super cheap here because they come straight out of China.
Super. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Except then you can't get some shit like at all. You have to order it off of Amazon. Like I can't get a UPS, uninterrupted power supply.
Yeah,
they just don't make them over here. I don't know what that's about, but I have to order it off Amazon. It's going to cost a fortune. Because these fucking power outages are killing me, dude. I've got to get a battery backup.
Are they surges where it could hurt your box?
No, the power gets cut.
Just rolling
some idiot
blackouts.
Somewhere. Yep.
Well,
it's
you
all
have
about that corruption.
Yeah, you have that. It could be that. It could be, who knows? But like you said, you pay a price to live in different places. You know,
you really do. There's no free lunch. Everything has a sacrifice.
Well, I believe the price we pay here in the West is this nanny state, man. You know, I can't imagine that where you're at right now, they have all the freaking laws. In other words, if you're out doing something one night and you have a little bit too much sake, is it still where you're at where if nobody's hurt, you've just been a jackass? Can you still like give the guy $50 and the cop's like, all right, man, I'll split it with my partner. Get the fuck out of here and don't let me catch you doing this again.
Yeah, I mean, they have like a kind of a side job of doing that. You know, they shake down tourists all the time. They'll like, if you let them, they will inspect your person. They will like literally, you know, cop a feel you up for any contraband that they can nail you for.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about corruption. You have street level corruption in a lot of Southeast Asian countries, and it's something that you have to be ready for, especially if you're coming from the West. Well, no, of course not.
Like a good way if you were up to a little, you know, tomfoolery.
Well, yeah, it is a good thing if you are up to some tomfoolery. You throw them some money, but
sucks.
Yeah, definitely. Well, in Thailand, it was a big problem. It doesn't really bother me here because the bike I rent from a cop, so they recognize the sticker, and so they let me go. They don't even, they don't harass me at all. They just wave me on through.
So not that you wouldn't have anything like this, but in Cambodia, if you were to have heroin, what kind of deal is that?
Oh, Jesus.
Just a patrolman pulls you over. What would you?
Oh God, you're fucked. Death penalty.
What?
Yeah, that's maximum death penalty. Hell yeah.
You mean for having some on your person? I don't mean you got a kilo. I mean you have like.
Oh no. If you just have a little bit, you're probably going to jail unless you pay a shit ton of money. Money talks, man.
What do you mean by a shit ton now? So you can't just look at
10,000, 15,000 cash.
Oh, that's
up front.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, no bond. I mean, you
No,
cash.
no,
right
like
now.
giving the cop $100 and saying, "Can we just?"
Oh
forget
hell
about
no,
this?
not with heroin. With weed, yeah, you can. They'll take you to the ATM and milk you. But with something strong, you're likely going to jail because that kind of stuff, it gets back on them. Like weed, dude, you can literally go and buy weed pizzas from a store. Like
Right.
they're just lined up here. And in fact, I wouldn't recommend it because every time I've gotten a weed pizza, it's been twice now, I have literally passed out. And the second time I was walking down the hall when I passed out. I don't know if it's
eating weed is so powerful, dude. It's a different.
Dude.
It turns into a different when it goes through your liver and you ingest it through your stomach. It goes through your liver. It changes to delta hydrocannabinol 10. I want to say it's a slightly different compound. That's why people get so paranoid, just pass right out. I mean, it's different.
Yeah. And bear in mind, this is a guy who used to own a dispensary and would eat fucking brownies and shit every single day. So I can smoke their weed all day, every day.
They probably got that long
fun.
growth sativa over there, is what I imagine.
Hey, dude, they're doing something. They are doing something. Those pizzas are
weed.
Fucking lethal. So anyway, that's Cambodia for you. It's crazy. It's crazy. Weed is very, very illegal, but you can buy it in a pizza anywhere on the street.
I can't think of Cambodia without thinking of Captain Kurtz. From Apocalypse. From Apocalypse Now.
Yes.
Because he was over the line in Cambodia, heads on the pikes and whatnot. It's a surreal scene.
Yeah.
They said, Brando, he was such a dick in that. He never studied his lines. Somebody would be over there with the script where you could read it. That's why he had all the weird face angles, too. He was just reading that right off the top. He did not practice much for that stuff. I have my own opinions about Brando, but ever since he pulled that Indian going and taking his Academy Award nonsense, I don't know. What a butthole.
Why? Yeah, I don't really understand all the acclaim for Brando. I mean,
he wasn't
The
that great.
Godfather. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, so you put cotton balls in your mouth and you talk with a slight Italian accent. That earns you an Oscar? Like, what?
Lion could do that. I mean, I could do that.
Yeah, no shit. Just get the Britisher. You can save yourself the cotton balls.
He's already talks like that normal. That's fucked up.
So you had sent me a message about Ann Coulter.
Oh well, there was that debate with Ann Coulter and what's her face. I don't have it pulled up, but it takes seconds to pull it up.
Yeah, let's do that instead because the Cenk one has been beat to shit by fucking everybody.
Yeah, I have not even watched this one. If you want, I'll just go from that segue right there, hook up the audio, and start playing this sucker, man.
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that Cenk bin debate was like blood in the water for piranhas, man. Everybody jumped on that. I guess it was pretty obvious that Ben kicked the shit out of Chunk. I find Ann Coulter strangely attractive in a Skeletor sort of way.
Anna.
Yes.
Matt.
Hi, Matt. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh God, Anna. Anna's hot as shit too. I'd tape her mouth shut though.
Yeah, big crap. All right.
Hello. You're gonna give me that mic
after I'm done. I think we're ready to get started, right? Okay. Well, this is Ann Coulter.
Hey, mute it
versus
real quick.
Anna Kasparian.
Just keep it playing. Just mute it. No, you can play it. Just keep it muted. I don't want to hear this stupid bastard. How much would you pay to see Ann Coulter and Anna Kasparian getting down?
I wouldn't pay anything, but if I happened to be in the room, I wouldn't leave. And I must say that I 100%, like I said, can't do the video, the audio and the audio with my mic at the same time, but 100% agree that I would not kick Ann out of bed in any way, shape, or form. And she's old now, man. I mean, she's in her 50s. I remember her being on the Phil Hendry show years ago.
Yeah.
Man.
What about Lauren Southern and Anna Kasparian?
Yeah, no, I can't comment on those kind of things, man.
A guy can dream.
I'm getting to this. I'm listening to these people too, where I can get it to right to there.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Who's this guy? I know he's just a moderator, but does he matter? Yeah. Is he important?
No, but here he's going to do a little explaining. Let's see if I got a good spot. If not, just stop me again, and I'll try to find a good spot to jump off on.
The ladies decided they wanted to talk about Trump, immigration, and criminal justice, so we're going to focus on those three areas.
Did he say the ladies? How sexist.
First question. Do you like my beard? Because it's a new thing that I'm trying. Is it
how sexist?
Great.
You can be honest.
I mean, beards are super in right now.
Really?
So I'm into it.
She's considering it. See, all right, here we go.
I like it.
There,
I like
she's
it.
all for it, and she's like, I'll tell you later. Okay.
Did the moderator ask Cenk that kind of thing?
And
Sexism.
Is Trump being an effective president so far? First to you and then to you.
Well, it's been, what, 7 months? And if I try to think of what George... This has been a problem. I can try moving it up. Is that better? My hair will hit. Can you hear me?
Technical difficulties.
Is that working? Yes? Yes? I think you can hear me now.
Somebody's coming to help Anne's mic. Let me start with you, and then we'll come back to you, so we keep it moving.
You with no name.
Effective president so far.
You with no name. You notice
Man,
how
I
he's
wish I could do that faster. Was that planned or what? Well, I continue. Was that planned?
Wow. Why does she have to be so dumb? Such a waste.
I think Trump has done a really good job at being effective in creating scandal in the White House, and I have to be...
Yay, 4
I have to
people.
be quite honest. It's a little disturbing to read articles like what just came out from the New Yorker with Ryan Lizza and some of the statements that were made by Scaramucci, who was supposed to be here but apparently didn't show up. You know, we are supposed to have some level of civility in government, regardless of what political affiliation you have. And right now, we are dealing with a Russia scandal. We're dealing with infighting within the White House. We're dealing with all sorts of chaos. And there have been no legislative wins so far. Now, Anne's right, it's been 7 months. But remember, when Trump was campaigning, he made a lot of promises about what he's going to do on day one. What he's going to do on day one. Well, what has he done since day one? I mean, he has definitely applied for more visas for foreign workers to come in and work for his properties. He's definitely done that. He has increased the...
I hate this idea. Well, see, it's so stupid. The left continues to shoot themselves in the foot with stupid statements like that. They complained in newspaper article after newspaper article that Trump was actually doing what he campaigned on, and what he campaigned on was asinine and stupid. The Muslim ban, quote unquote, the budget where he's jacking up the VA, that's awesome. He fucking campaigned on that. Unfortunately, he did campaign on relaxing the IRS pressure for churches. He's following through on the things he campaigned on, and now you have Anna going, well, he hasn't done anything he's campaigned on. Make up your fucking minds. Either he has done what he said he would, and it's a terrible idea, or he hasn't done what he said he would. You can't have it both ways. You're either vanilla ice cream or you're not.
Yeah, they like to play both sides like that. It frustrates me too.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. Plasmifear says in chat that the funny thing about this new leftist angle is if Trump has done literally nothing, where is all the scandal coming from? How true? Trump is not generating these things. Trump didn't generate the Russia scandal. Trump didn't generate, well, he kind of generated the Smoochie scandal by firing the guy. Well, he didn't fire him, but whatever. It's all media bullshit. And anyone that's rational sees right through it. Notice when she said Trump has been successful at creating scandal, like 5 people clapped.
Oh, and
she's sexy as shit, but they don't get that they're the minority.
They're very upset right now is the mainstream media, and this lady too, because they said he would never be president. They said he would never, he was a joke, and now he is president. So now they kick into high gear, and instead of putting out whatever polls that were so far off, I'd have to consider them probably skewed, poll and whatever else, now reality's here, and they got to kick that same engine into high gear and just be smirching the guy in a way. Because if you did this, you could do this to anybody. You just follow their everything that they do and pick it apart and put your own spin on it. Of course, they didn't do that to Barack Obama because, you know, he was their god.
True. And I was going to say something else, but then I read Tigerson's comment, so I will shut up because I agree. I do want to see Ann Coulter versus Anna because I think Ann Coulter.
All right. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Right back on the Ann Coulter train. Buckle up.
Cap for foreign workers to come into the country. And so he basically turned his back on his base, and I'm unsure whether or not they're even aware of that. So no, he hasn't been an effective president. If anything, there's been a lot of entertaining drama and scandal, but that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say,
For one thing, I would not consider the Scaramucci interview the highlight of the Trump presidency so far. But I was trying to remember, can you really not hear me?
You seriously can't hear her? I'm getting a lot of
mic. Give her your mic, you fucking retard.
Because I mic myself every day. Do you mind if I do it?
Ooh, look at that unity already.
Here.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
It can't be on that side.
Ask and you shall receive, boys. Touch it.
There you
Touch it.
Talk a little.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How's that working? Can you hear me? I think we're going to have to do that.
What a great idea that I had 5 minutes ago.
7 months is when I think about, before 9/11, what did Bush do? I don't remember anything until Obamacare passed. I don't remember anything Obama did. So yeah, there's been a lot of excitement, some of which I'm not that thrilled about. But is he an effective president? Well, how do you judge that? What did he run on? What did he promise? I think none of his supporters, maybe some of them, really just thought it would be fun to have this tacky billionaire in the White House. I think most people thought, no, he's the only one raising the issues we have been dying to have some president raise. And, screw you Republicans, screw you Democrats. We're going to put this nut in the Oval Office because he will at least put Americans first and not Wall Street first. And has he done that? Well, in 7 months, he's really going after MS-13. He's attempting to prevent terrorists from coming into the country. The courts, so we're getting massive resistance from the Democrats as usual, as we got during the civil rights era. But he'll win in the end. He's interviewing for the wall. He has a fantastic attorney general. He has a fantastic head of ICE. So as for what he has promised, and whether he's implementing it, I'd give him a B. I'm looking for an A by the midterms.
I want to be like Switzerland, like Gwen Eiffel here, and not.
What do you think, Uygur? Do you agree with that assessment? You think that he's accomplishing shit and?
Well, yeah, I think he's accomplishing things, but you have to remember, if you want me to go on a Ann Coulter, I'm not Ann Coulter. I'm not that kind of pundit. As a matter of fact, that's the one thing that the British and I have in common more than anything else. I was an ardent Trump supporter. I, like Ann Coulter, supported him from the time he came down the golden escalator, said he was going to run for nomination to be, the Republican candidate. But now he put his hand on that Bible and he swore at it. He's just another politician, and he's turning out to be that to me. So the way she said it, no, but he's doing a lot of good things. I just was reading an article about how many of his policies are making it, but the big ones, Congress is slapping him right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed because he ran as such a great businessman, but then when it came to appointing his team that's going to advise him, he just used the same fucking people that have been in Congress for the last 30, 40 years. How are you going to drain the swamp if you just keep using the same swamp water?
Yeah, and that's changing now, but he's getting a lot of flack because of it. They really ramped up because Scaramucci came in there. I don't know how to feel about the mooch. He was good for what he did, and I mean it. I would have wanted him to do the same thing, come in and fire like 5, 6 people like a jackass and then fire you. I wouldn't be surprised if he knew that was going to happen from the get-go.
We cannot be anomalous, you and I. We can't be the odd men out. I feel that we as centrists, or I'm more of a right-leaning centrist, you're probably more of a left-leaning centrist, but I feel that we're both centrists. I would assume that we're kind of the quiet majority. So, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm way off base, but him winning kind of tells me I'm not. And now that he did win, why do you think he's not going, you know what, fuck all of you. I am here because of the middle, the centrists. So I'm not going to appoint the same old tired crowd.
Man, he'd do a lot better if he did that. And, folks like Mrs. Coulter, Steven Crowder, and Steven Crowder has become an apologist for Donald Trump. Just listen to him. So is Alex Jones, always has been. These people, their message would be more powerful if they would point out once in a while where he's fallen short. And that was a good speculation. But if I was to classify myself, I would say I was center, slightly right into the bottom. Sophane was talking about this up and down, left and right. And so I would say I would be little bottom right from the center.
Yeah, I should have guessed you were a bottom.
Yeah, I like to be on the bottom because I'm fat, man. You don't take much energy that way, if that's what you're talking about.
On with the show.
Yeah, I sent the Britisher the link, but he probably popped in for that one. Someone else popped in earlier and heard you like screw all these guys, and then Britisher probably like, well, maybe I'll see what the Uyghur's doing. He strolls by us like, that's it.
Uyghur's a bottom. Nope.
Nope. Jolly good try, sir. Yeah, anyway, so let's carry on with this. I don't know if these people are going to start cutting our heads off, but this is good. And that was a great foresight. Why don't we do this? We'll let them bing bong like we did just there.
Yeah.
And when they go in between, I'll kind of try to fast forward through this asshole, or well, let's see what happens.
Take a side, but occasional things may jump out at me. Do you want to respond to that? I just want to.
If you don't mind, I would like to respond.
Yeah. But I'm just
sure.
want to. Does the president think that he has a fantastic attorney general? He seems to not agree with you.
Well, if we're going to get into the flaws of the Trump administration, I mean, I think the original sin was something that I've been perfectly open with him and the world about. Americans don't like nepotism. I don't think he should have brought his son-in-law into the White House, and I think a lot of this has to do with him being worried about the investigation going after his son-in-law. I think he's right not to want an independent counsel. There's a reason Congress got rid of the independent counsel law. You can't just have this unaccountable roving commission looking at everything you've ever done. I understand. I feel his pain. I feel his frustration. But no, you shouldn't be, posting your own attorney general. If you don't like him, fire him. You're the president. But look, he's done. I don't think.
Okay, we can move right on. But she said posting. She just made a reference to Trump shit posting. We'll let it roll. That was just hilarious to me, man. I love Ann Coulter.
That is nearly as bad as the first thing I didn't like that he did. And it's really just about two things. And that was, one of the things we voted for, don't get us involved in any more pointless wars. And that bombing of Syria, again, I see a little nepotism issue here. I mean, the claim in the New York Times and Washington Post was Ivanka saw some pictures of children and started crying. Oh, daddy, we have to bomb Syria. So Ivanka cried, kids died. But his base punched back, and at least we are not involved in a war in Syria. And by the way, we would have been in Syria, in Russia, in Iran, if it had been anyone else running for president, with the possible exception of Bernie Sanders. So I would say he's effective. He hasn't gotten us involved in a pointless war, and he is pretty well following through on the immigration stuff. He's pretty well following through on the trade stuff. That's all I care about. I don't care about the tweets. I love the tweets.
All right. So there's quite a bit to jump in on. But the first thing that I want to address is this notion that he is not escalating war abroad, which is completely false. So within the first 3 months of his presidency, he actually escalated some of Obama's foreign policy in the form of drone strikes. In fact, it increased 423%. We are bombing like crazy in places like Yemen. Okay. And this whole notion that, this Muslim ban is trying to keep the terrorists out of the country. Doesn't anyone else find it a little strange that Saudi Arabia, one of the countries that was obviously involved in what happened on 9/11, is not part of that Muslim ban? Right? So, I mean, I know that the right wing has been very vociferous in terms of trying to make Saudi Arabia pay some consequences for it. Trump isn't making him pay any consequences because he has financial interest there. I want to go way back to what you said about, legislative wins and policy. When it comes to the issue of immigration, it's kind of fascinating because Obama got a lot of criticism for being soft on immigrants, right? But by the end of 2010, he had allocated $12 billion toward border security, and he had hired 40,000 new border agents. As a result, less undocumented immigrants were coming in, more of them were leaving. Between 2005 and 2010, we actually had 1.5 million undocumented immigrants leave the country, mostly because of economic reasons. The economy in Mexico was starting to do a little better and people wanted to leave. So there were wins when it came to Obama. He did do things, and he got a lot of criticism from the left when it came to his immigration policy. But the reality is Donald Trump hasn't done anything yet other than attempt to ban people from some Muslim countries and pretend like he's a tough guy. In reality, he's not a tough guy. He hasn't succeeded in anything, and healthcare is the latest example of that.
Pause that bitch.
Like
God, why is she gotta be so dumb?
Okay? Total control. Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, 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 bong, bing, bing, bong. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best.
No, keep going, dude. That's fucking awesome.
And I said, we need to build a wall. And nobody builds walls better than me, believe me. I'm gonna bomb the shit out of them. We will make America great again.
Grab him by the pussy.
I don't care. China's killing us. We need to build a wall.
My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
Fake news, folks. God bless you and good night.
Yeah, I like that one. When they were going there back and forth, she was talking about, well, increase the drone strikes. I'd have to look into that. I'm not saying it's true or untrue at this point. It wouldn't shock me. But remember what he said? He just said it. I would bomb the shit out of them. So we dropped the Moab, drone striking them that ass. I would like to know.
Who gives a shit?
And I would like to know if it was military drone strikes or if it was presidentially signed by presidential order drone strikes. There's a huge difference, Lion. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, good point. Very good point. But honestly, though, I don't think it really matters either way, because a drone strike is not indicative of starting a war, increasing a war. It may be continuing aggressions, but it's not putting troops on the ground. If you're sending robots, who the fuck cares? Okay, they cost money. Big deal. You can't put a price on a human life. Obama sent troops. Trump's sending robots. I'll take Trump.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yeah, and I'd really get pissed off about this idea of boots on the ground. Oh, you got to have boots on the ground. Yes, I know, to like effectively control a populace, sure, but fuck it. If we're going to go to war with someone, let's level them.
Level them
fuck
first.
Controlling the populace. Eliminate the populace. World War II, we did that. Yeah, World War II is arguably the last war we effectively, genuinely won. No question, won. And it's because we had a scorched earth policy. If you're going to aggress against America, we are going to destroy your country. It got the message across. Japan certainly got the message.
Certainly.
Anyway, that was a funny video. And what the fuck, Anna? Oh, God, why does she have to be so stupid? So Trump has done nothing, air quotes. Executive order after executive order. I actually pulled up a list because I was writing an article and I was trying to find the executive order for the stupid IRS thing that I can't stand. You and I will probably disagree on that, but we'll talk about that at a later date. But anyway, executive order after executive order. Dude has signed like 50 or 60 or even more. I mean, this was a while ago that I was looking this up. Executive orders. He's probably gone through a couple of pens. Dude has signed a ton of executive orders.
You might like this if you can see the side chat between you and I. You might like this little link here. It's anyway, check it out whenever you want. It's a little Trump has quiet accomplishments, and it's just talking about how much a vast amount of stuff. And I don't want to cut you off. Just remember this while you're speaking. She said that Trump said he was going to do this, that, and the other thing on day one. Remember that? She said that. He didn't say he was going to accomplish any of those things. He said he was going to begin to implement, talk about, and enforce these policies in his administration.
Yeah, and she's acting like he hasn't had any kind of obstruction from anywhere. You know, he's trying to accomplish things. And what's funny is I love that the description of quiet victories, because with Trump, you've got to give him credit, because it's like, sign executive order, move on to the next one. Not, oh, looky what I did, everybody. Looky, I'm a winner. I found that repugnant with Obama, how it was always like, as soon as he signed something, he was out there in front of the cameras going, I'm virtue. Oh, virtue.
That's a new one on me, the Obama. I'm not sure that I made this up. In fact, I kind of swiped the idea of the acronym for it, but I'm going to share a little something with you here, Logical Lion, that I thought was quite funny, to be perfectly honest. It tickled my funny bone. Usually whenever I'm making memes, that's what I'm trying to do. I don't have a huge following, so it's not like a ton of people see my memes anyway. But I just did this one with the president there. I support the ideals of LGBT, liberty, guns, beer, and Trump.
Send that to me, please. I must tweet that. That is
please
awesome.
pass that around like a $2 whore in Tijuana, my friend.
I most certainly will.
Be honored.
And that's actually a common myth. The cheapest you can get is, I mean, I've heard that the cheapest you can get is $5, and Tijuana $2 just doesn't really.
I've been to Tijuana many times, and you can pick you up a 16-year-old schoolgirl for $5. But you're correct. I would not that I've done it either. But I'll tell you the honest truth. I went up to a tranny that looked like a runway model, and I negotiated a price, but I didn't follow through. I just wanted to know. I was like, so what would it be if it went? And the whole deal there is the girls work for the hotel they're standing in front of, and I'm sure that if you went, I mean, I wouldn't go into the hotel. You dig it, Lion? And I'm sure you can pick up a whore that will get in your cab or whatever. This is just what I experienced. But yes, $5, that would get you just about any woman except for a hot tranny. In fact, that's about it. They're expensive. They're about $50.
Thailand, they have that shit refined to an art. I mean,
what is it there? Respectfully, I hate to get off on the crazy train, and we'll get back to the thing, but we just want to have a little break with all this serious Ann Coulter stuff.
Yeah.
But what is it there?
Talk about trannies.
No, not too much. So what is it in Thailand for a train, for whatever? What is a prostitute there? For the room, you got 15 minutes to go and have a little good time.
Nigga, you think I'm shopping for prostitutes?
No, but just like I just bared my soul. I've never been with a prostitute in my life.
I would say probably, I don't know, $20 to $30 probably.
Okay. That's actually high.
For average. Oh, yeah. I mean, rumor on the campfires, there's a place here called, in the town I live in, called the Chicken Ranch, where you can go get a boom boom for $10.
Ooh.
But I mean, Jesus, you know, it's not the boom boom that you're paying for; it's the insects that are coming with you.
Oh, and I was just saying, then you probably got to pay another $50 to the doctor for your shot in the butt for the boom boom you had.
Yeah, no, thank you. Fortunately, I have a super hot wife.
Yeah, well, I can actually vouch for that for you suckers that don't know. I do, but I can't say how. Yeah, you know what? You have a lovely family, I gotta say.
Well, thank you, sir. Funny story. The reason why we ended up in Southeast Asia is because we were either going to go to Panama or Asia. And as an offhand comment, I mentioned to my wife one day, I said, you know, I don't really find Asian women that attractive. I'm kind of unusual in that regard. The next day she goes, hey, honey, I've decided on Thailand.
Oh, that's funny.
And it is 100% a true story.
It's like we're ready to go abroad, and I'm like, well, you know what, baby, I really don't find them Hispanic chicks too hot. We'd be in Guatemala somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an intelligent woman. I mean, that's what you got. I'm with you though, mate. If you're serious about that, the whole craze. And look, we got to get back to the thing. But that's funny that you said that because you live in a Asian land. But the Asian girl, they all look like 15-year-old boys to me. I don't.
Yeah, I just the bodies are nice, but I don't know. The face just does something for me. I don't know. It does not. I don't find it attractive.
I look like a little kid staring back at you. But anyway, on that happy note, maybe we can see what these girls. Because I would have to say, I guess, is Anna attractive, Lion?
Yes, Anna to me is the epitome of super hot.
Really?
Yeah, it's the high cheekbones, the European, the Eastern European. I think is the epitome of gorgeous.
Well, and a lot of people did. The Caucasus Mountains are the most beautiful people, they say. But I would say in her case, it's probably because I know who she is, mate. I hate her, and she's ugly to me. But well, let's see.
Someone else said that in chat. I noticed earlier that I think it was Tigerson actually said I don't find Anna attractive because I'm gay. No, that's not what he said. He said something about their personality. Well, anyway. Yeah, it's weird. Her personality I don't really give a shit about because she's hot and I'd fuck her. Volume? We're appropriating deaf culture. We're gonna need some volume there, Chief. We cannot hear that.
Oh, can you still hear me? Oh, I must hit the wrong button. Damn, and that's some good stuff too. I did. Because so now you won't hear me, but I'm gonna back this up because Ann Coulter's just blisters it out. That sucks. Next time just say loser right away and I'll know what you mean.
Oh, I thought the appropriating deaf culture was giving it away.
Every single presidential candidate.
Economy in Mexico was starting this example of that.
Saying what I agree with you on, couldn't agree with you more on Saudi Arabia. The only thing I'll say in response to that is every single general, every single presidential candidate wants to suck up to Saudi Arabia.
That's right.
Trump is the most and by the way, I'll throw one in for you. We're continuing this pointless Obama war in Afghanistan. We've been in there 17 years. What are we doing there? But all of his advisors and all of your favorite Republican, John McCain and Lindsey Graham, oh no, they want a full-blown, a relationship with Saudi Arabia, and we'll go to war in Syria, we'll go to war in Russia. No, Trump is, at least on the war front, he's doing better than anybody else would have. As for, Obama being a kick-ass on, hard ass on immigration, no, this is a total lie. I'm
having you pause right here because I really want to address that. The reason why we cozy, I like how you're the moderator. The reason why we cozy up to Saudi Arabia, obviously, everybody knows, is because of the fucking oil. And unfortunately, they are kind of a stable ally in the region. Fuck stable ally. Who gives a shit? If they don't have the oil and we don't need the oil, we're not going to talk to them, stable or otherwise. Anna complains about our relationship with Saudi Arabia, while at the same fucking time does report after report about the evils of fracking and the evils of home oil production and energy, not renewable, whatever, not green energy sources. If you want to stop having a relationship with Saudi Arabia, how about generating your own energy via oil, etc., from home? In America, get off the foreign fucking oil, and we can stop having a relationship with them. It'll never happen as long as fracking is a bad, whatever, it's a political hot potato, etc. In that regard, I'm kind of glad Trump is an idiot when it comes to climate change. I want to get off Saudi oil. These fuckers, 14 of the 16 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. 14 of the, let me say it again, 7/8 of the hijackers of 9/11 were Saudi Arabian. 7/8. Yet we are not at war with Saudi Arabia, ... Continue.
Quick point I will make. One is this is a Washington metric that if you spend more money, you're getting serious about it. No, spending money on Border Patrol means more government workers, more unionized workers, more taxpayer money. It does not mean more enforcement. And what Obama did to make it look like they were doing enforcement is they redefined deportation. It used to be, for 50 years, you turn somebody away at the border. That's not a deportation. You turned them away at the border. Suddenly, under Obama, they started describing the turn them away at the border as a deportation. So, it's like a failing school saying, we just changed the passing grade from 70 to 40. And look, all the kids passed. That's what we got under Obama. We're getting deportations. You wouldn't have so many people weeping about the deportation. There was just another one, I think in Bloomberg yesterday. Someone weeping about it was an ICE agent saying, "Oh, these ICE agents are coming to me and they actually want to deport people." No, ICE is able to do its job now, and they haven't been, not under Obama, not under Bush.
All right, first to you, Mr.
I need to respond to that because there were a lot of misleading statements that you mentioned, and I'll tell you why. So the Obama administration certainly did deport more people than the Bush administration, and it was not just people being turned away at the border. I'll give you the numbers, okay? So first of all, the $12 billion that he allocated for border security went toward hiring 40,000 border agents. So it was not to increase the bureaucracy. It was to include or add to what we already had at the border. Now, you mentioned the ICE agents and all the people crying about how mean they are. I'm curious what you think about the border agents that are now being sued by the ACLU for molesting 2 teenage girls who are coming in from Guatemala. Does that make you feel bad at all?
Something else a wall would solve. Again, hiring border agents is not keeping illegal immigrants out of the country. And we know that because Obama was welcoming unaccompanied children. What the border agents were doing, this wonderful 40,000 border agents was handing them a pass, putting them on a bus to the interior of the country.
Yeah, and from an economic standpoint, it's disingenuous. Hiring 40,000 border agents, as Ann is saying here, effectively does nothing to stem the tide because they can't be everywhere at all times. However, you just boosted your employment numbers, as well as making it appear as though you're strong on immigration. You check all kinds of political boxes without actually accomplishing anything. Of course Obama would do that. That's a perfect political move.
Ann is just kicking it right now. I've not even seen it. She's just crushing it. She's very good at this.
Well, and I was hoping that Anna would bring up the ICE deportations and how it's tearing apart families, and Trump wants to tear apart families. It pisses me off because they're making this statement that these people who have committed a crime should not be punished for that crime. So if I go out and steal a car but nobody sees me do it and I'm able to get away with it, do I get to keep the car then? If the cops find the car 5 years down the road, and I'm still driving it?
That's like some Zen stuff. If a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, you know, you're like, oh, if I stole the car, nobody. Well, I understand that. And not only that, let's look at it. So 2 ICE agents molested somebody. Maybe it's true. Probably is true. There's a lot of ICE agents. Some of them are bad people. To come across the border, if you're female, there's a 90% chance you will be raped. The other 10% willingly give it up. Don't matter if it's grandma, who it is, they give up a handy. They give up something. Believe it. So, you know, you're comparing, if you want to compare things like that, so the 2 people some girl got molested versus definitely got raped by a coyote.
Yeah, and to be honest, the border agents were probably a little disappointed with the sloppy seconds.
Oh, mercy, Lion. Oh, mercy sake. The Britisher does not necessarily condone all the content that you may find on this stream. If you will just notice that it says Logical Lion in the title page. I'm flabbergasted by that one. Very good point, though. So shall we let the girls take it, or is there some more?
I think we should. On that note, I think we should hand it off to the lady.
That wasn't deportation. It was the welcome force down at the border. You put up a wall. You don't have to worry about paying unemployment, paying workman's comp. They don't have to go to sleep. They don't slack off. They don't molest illegals. The wall just sits there day and night, not having to sleep, eat,
They're actually, you know, it's incredibly misleading to say that we need to build a wall, because the fact of the matter is we 100% already have a wall. We have a 2,000-mile long border that we share with Mexico, right? About 1,000 miles are already covered by a wall. The rest, we're talking about a river, and we're talking about treacherous terrain. We're talking about mountains, okay? One of the reasons why he hasn't built the wall yet is because it's almost impossible to build the wall in the areas that we're talking about. There's a ton of issues with building the wall in the remaining area, including U.S. properties. We have resorts, we have U.S. properties that would essentially be divided in half if we continued building that wall. And by the way, it's a gigantic waste of resources. How about our
What? Okay, so you stupid bitch. So you're suggesting that if we build a wall along the border, it's going to cut someone's property in half? So you're saying that someone has property both in America and Mexico? How are they pulling that off? Genius. What a crock of shit. How do they not see the fucking lies for themselves? Ugh. Oh, and you know what? What a crock of shit. Oh, it's impassable. There's a river. Ew. Why do you think Mexico does not have a good Olympic swimming team? All their good swimmers are in fucking America. It's stupid. It's stupid to act like the border, this treacherous terrain, is really doing a great job to keep people out. How many are there in America? Ann Coulter estimates there's about 30 million illegal immigrants in America. So, yeah, how about that impassable fucking terrain again?
taxpayer money actually go back to us as American people. How about that?
Okay. All right. So you brought up healthcare. We're all thinking about healthcare. A huge issue this week.
Dude, you gotta like put it phonetically. I don't know how the fuck to say that. Plasma Fear says in chat, in my opinion, we just need to dig a river between Mexico and the USA. It would be closer and have access to more ports than Panama. That is a fucking great point. And it would probably be cheaper too. Just hire a couple of backhoe. You know what? Hire a couple of Mexican backhoe drivers. Get out there and dig a big ass ditch and just connect the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific. You know, make it about 2 miles across.
I'm not saying that we couldn't do it. They say that the pyramids couldn't be built nowadays, even with our modern technology. I wonder if we could actually do the Panama Canal on that grand scale, because you're talking about connecting the Gulf of Mexico with the Pacific Ocean, is what you're saying.
We want an impassable train on the border.
1,800 miles.
Yeah, but here's the thing. In 1965, I think it was, John F. Kennedy said, "We will put a man on the moon." We're talking about sitting on a fucking explosive device.
Yeah, but nobody's ever been on the moon. It's just a fancy picture show put on by Stanley Kubrick. So that's another stream. That's a different stream.
Let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that it did actually happen.
All right. If I have to suspend reality, let's imagine that a human being.
Let's imagine that it actually happened.
Went through the Van Allen belt. Let's imagine that, and that they made it. So now what? So since we could imagine that, that means we can imagine something else that's impossible.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This happened 50 years ago. Our technology has dramatically increased. This idea that we couldn't make the pyramids, I think that's bullshit. I think it's selling ourselves short. And I think we could make a Panama Canal, basically,
1,800 miles long, though?
Hell yes.
I'm not saying it couldn't be done either, mate. I believe that if we just put the might of the Army Corps of Engineers and everything we had at it, brung our boys home and put them there doing that, hell yeah, we'd probably have a canal in a couple, 3 years if it was really that focused.
Yes.
But they're not going to do that.
World War fucking II. We get into World War II. Japan bombs the shit out of Pearl Harbor. We get into World War II. We get boots on the ground, tanks on the ground. We are getting our asses handed to us. Read a history book, anybody that disagrees with that or thinks that America just went in and kicked the shit out of the rest of the world. No, we were getting stomped. We were getting beat to shit by the Germans. So what happened? The president and the Congress went to the American people and said, it's time we all pitch in. They turned the entire industrial complex of America into a military industrial complex. They started pumping out enormous amounts of munition. We outproduced and innovated the Germans in World War II because we turned our industry on. Imagine if we did that again for something like building a border wall or fixing, the water, the irrigation problems that they have in the middle of the country. If we as a country came together for one common goal like they did in World War II, or the moon landing, assuming it happened,
Nice. That was nice. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Well, I have doubts too, my friend. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't be a skeptic if I believed it entirely.
I won't go so far as to say there's no outer space, but the moon landing, it's the Van Allen belt. And we can't, like you said, man, we got so much to cover even here. What I did, Lion, and anybody that does come in, Lion's doing this thing. So please show him some deference as the host today. But I kind of am trying to lower this platomosphere and to see if we can maybe get him on to bounce some ideas around. But I don't know. Yes. Shall we let the girls babble?
Let us hear from the vaginas.
Trump care for now is dead. Is it?
Yay. We're going to get about 3 questions if you keep this up.
Is it right for the president to say, let Obamacare fail?
I'll answer that in a minute. Everything she said about the wall was false. When liberals start complaining about the budget, Whenever a liberal is worried about federal spending,
Come on, it's not a presidential debate.
there's
We're gonna actually answer the
your
question.
antenna should go up. There's 700 miles of fence. It's about as high as this table. And if a wall is so ineffective, then stop complaining about it. Not going to make a difference. Fine. Then don't be so hysterical. As for Obamacare, it's very simple. I mean, I think Trump made the mistake of allowing Paul Ryan to set the agenda. President Trump got to Washington with both political parties, the entire bureaucracy, and the entire legacy media against him. It wasn't his job to find the proper replacement for Obamacare. That should have been done by the Republicans, who've had 7 years to do it, and they didn't do it. It was a disaster. Unfortunately, this is the problem with my party. They accept the behemoth. They act like they're free marketers, and then they, our big change to give you an example, and it happens to be a perfect metaphor here. When Ronald Reagan ran for president, one of his campaign promises was eliminating the Department of Education. Today's Republican Party, their idea of Austrian economics is no child left behind. Well, no, that's not getting rid of the Department of Education and sending education back to the states. We want a real free market solution. I think what they should have done with Obamacare, which I have been writing about, I've been screaming from the rooftops, is don't touch it. The whole key is separating the welfare cases from the free market cases. You do not repeal Obamacare. Anybody who wants Obamacare gets it, but you pass a one-sentence law saying there shall be a nationwide free market in health insurance. That has been the problem for basically since the 60s with health insurance. You can't buy health insurance the way you buy everything else. The free market works its magic. You get good products at good prices.
Okay, but the question was, is it right for the president to say this policy, which I don't support, let that policy fail?
I love that Ann calls the Republican Party out for that, because she's totally right. I'm always saying this, that we don't have a capitalist society. We have a corporate capitalist or a corporatist society. Because I'm a vegan, yes, I know it's a kind of an unusual situation to have a lion that doesn't eat meat. But, stupid Avatar jokes aside, it's very frustrating to me as a vegan that my tax dollars go to subsidize the meat and dairy industry, thereby making vegan products more expensive by comparison in supermarkets. Nice, cross eyes. So it's very frustrating because that creates a false market. So then vegan products don't get bought at the same rate meat and dairy products do, because the prices aren't equal, because the government is subsidizing the fucking meat and dairy industry. If they didn't, more people I know who say I would eat vegan but I can't afford it, would change their diet, which would drive down the cost of vegan products. As more and more companies get into the market would decide. But no, gotta fucking watch out for meat and dairy companies, gotta screw with the market. Our government does not have a laissez-faire market system, and because of that, you get disparities like meat and dairy versus vegan foods. It pisses me off. That's all I wanted to say. Forrest Gump.
Aren't they supposed to get rid of borders for health insurance not long ago?
Yeah, and Trump said a lot about that too, about getting rid of the borders, saying that would be a good. Do you think that'd be a good idea?
Of course. Why wouldn't it be? I mean, I don't see why there's borders.
How can any self-respecting Republican or states' rights believer, how can any one of them say that they're for eliminating the ability to choose for states? Like, that's the fundamental question here. It's a states' rights issue. With education especially, but also with healthcare. If you live in a state that wants to, like Oregon has their own healthcare. And in fact, I'm one of my economics professors when I was going to college was one of the writers of the Oregon Health Plan, which is their socialist health plan. And it works really, really well. But it's structured really well. But anyway, you can have universal health care on a state level, because then you don't have disparity in income. You don't have disparity in diet. People in Kentucky do not eat the same as people in Washington. So the people in Washington are subsidizing the greasy motherfuckers in Kentucky.
Wyoming and New York City. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, and that's the idea that the healthy pay for the, yes, that's the business model. And let me just complete that thought in case anybody's not tracking. Sometimes I'll have a thought, and I assume everybody can see inside my brain. They can't. This is the idea with insurance, that you have a huge base. Hopefully a lot of them are middle-aged, younger, and they're not sick at this point. And that money coming in will subsidize and will pay for the premiums of the people that are getting older now and dying off, and new people. You want to constantly get more people to join in. That's the way it is. But they're making it like, oh, look, single payer is insanity. Taking out any kind of competition. Oh my gracious, man. Just look at the VA, look at anybody, even the English folks that are a lot of times in here. They don't say much bad about the NHS. It works pretty well in England, but even they have their problems with it. But you can look at Canada, it's hell. Look at Cuba. You want to go to Cuba and have some gall surgery or something done, Lion?
Hell no. Well, I live in a country that has basically no health insurance coverage, no hospital. I mean, there are hospitals, but
yeah, but if you knock on the door and say I'm sick, they ask for your money first, right?
Oh yeah, it's cash too. You know, $5 for a colonoscopy. I mean, I assume it's $5 for a colonoscopy.
Oh, that's not bad. See, and then that's how it should be.
Yeah, it's super cheap. Actually, I think I told. Nah, I wasn't on this stream. I was talking to someone else. But anyway, my daughter got really sick right before we left Thailand. It's one of the reasons why we left Thailand. And as little kids will do, she was swallowing her bloody nose. And so later on in the evening, because, you know, with the sniffling and whatnot, her nose got really raw. So later on in the evening, she threw up and there was blood, you know, in her puke. Oh, man, did I panic. We snatched her ass up and we hauled ass to the emergency room. We were there for 3 or 4 hours. They gave us some anti-nausea stuff and some sleepy stuff so that she could, you know, sleep because it was keeping her up. And she said, keep her hydrated. It's normal. Nothing to worry about. She's got a slight fever, but other than that, she's just got a normal cold. Prescriptions, all of that cost me a little over $100. Now, do you think in America, going to the emergency room at a giant hospital, getting your
$800 alone just to go to the emergency room?
Easy peasy.
You're talking about you just described $1,000. 10 times.
I went to the ER once with a migraine, and they gave me a pill that dissolved underneath my tongue, and I got a bill in the mail for $680.
Yep. It's terrible, man. And what's crazy is that people hear that, and I've told other people in America that, and they're like, oh, yeah, but I'm not going to go to a Thailand doctor. Thailand ranks higher than America in healthcare.
Oh, well, I'm not shocked. Sometimes you just wonder what you can get away with. I'm not going to push play on this gift. Sometimes you just wonder what you can get away with. Guess what she's going to do? If I did press play, guess what she's fit to do?
She's going to sing a song.
Uh-huh. I'll just press it now. Oh my goodness!
By the way, when you sent me that, I literally watched that Twitter channel or whatever. I don't know.
They follow me. That's mostly boobs. They follow me. I don't know why.
Yeah. I watched it for like 5 minutes. I was mesmerized.
I was
just going through each of their pictures. Oh my god, it's beautiful.
Some of them not so great, but some of them, man, it's like wow.
Speaking of boobs, let's throw them two sets.
Oh yeah, here we go. Sorry, folks, I got wrapped up. I just seen Tommy Hawk was here, and I wasn't sure if he wanted to shit post on some stuff that we already played. No, I'm just making excuses. I got carried away looking at some Twitter. Let me get back on the job. And
that
of course,
avatar, dude, Tomahawk is fucking hilarious, dude. That's seriously funny. I love that. Wait, is that your face? I'm sorry. I was just kidding. That's very serious.
With the attendant pain that would cause too many people.
I mean, of course, it's not right. We elected someone, I mean, I didn't partake in electing him, but this country elected someone with the intention of him representing us and representing our best interests. And unfortunately, he would much rather win some political brownie points as opposed to looking out for us and improving upon legislation that was passed by Obama. And so
winning political brownie points with the people who elected him, you dumb cunt. You weren't one of those.
Going to sit here and pretend like the Affordable Care Act is perfect. It's something that we were criticizing Obama for quite a bit, especially because it lacked the proper cost controls and because it was essentially a gigantic handout to private industry. And, you know, this notion that if we just make it a free market system, we had a free market system. And guess what? A lot of people had no access to health insurance because they were being denied for pre-existing conditions.
Yeah,
so there are a lot of positive
free
things, there are a lot of positive things that came out of the Affordable Care Act, including, don't get emotional, including allowing us.
Oh! Get off the stage, you fat fuck!
Allowing us to purchase health insurance without fear that we have a pre. So there are a
Obamacare
lot of
wasn't free
positive
market.
things. I'm talking. There are a lot of positive things that came out of the Affordable Care Act, including. Don't get emotional. Including allowing us.
The clause.
Allowing us to purchase health insurance without
she's
fear that
so
we have a
hot.
pre-existing condition, allowing people up to the age of 26 to remain on their parents' health insurance. There were a lot of positive things, but it was flawed. And instead of Republicans coming in and saying, hey, you know what, let's find a way to lower these premiums. Let's find a way to improve upon this you know, legislative win that the Democrats have.
So let's play make-believe for just one quick second. Imagine that was like Lauren Southern, her message coming out. Imagine if Anna Kasparian was actually really smart and like saying the right things. Oh my God, would she be so hot?
She has a nose job, dude.
That whole thing, yes, she did to hide some of the Armenian. She's Armenian, and she's an Armenian genocide denier. Man, that's so terrible. It's like myself as a Jew, and it'd be like me saying, nah, the Holocaust, not only, it would be me being George Soros. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, not only, it wasn't that bad. Besides that, the Nazis were right, man. They were cool. That's what Anna Kasparian is doing with the Young Turks who killed off so many Armenians. She's Armenian.
Yeah,
Turks didn't do nothing.
Who would ever name their group the Young Turks?
Dude, you know his wolf pack is named also after the Grey Wolves, which were a murderous terrorist group.
Well, it's funny that you said that, Tom Hawk, because the Logical Lion wants to do this at least like once or twice a month on the stream here. And he now it's his idea. Don't get me wrong. I'm not endorsing. I just want to kick this by everybody. If you want to go with this, press 1. If you're still listening out there and you got a keyboard, he was thinking of calling the stream the Hitler Youth.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure Ben Shapiro say something similar.
Hitler Youth, folks. What do y'all think about that? I was impartial as a Jew. I have to be, take myself out of it, not be butthurt over like linguistics, and semantics. So, if it's cool, Hitler Youth, just let us know, and maybe we'll call it that.
Yeah, I like Hitler Youth. I think that works.
All right.
In the spirit of the Young Turks, we're gonna have you're gonna be my Jewish co-host.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
I'll do that. I'll be your Anna, sweet thing.
And you know what's absolutely hilarious is that would work because I am actually German. Mm-hmm. True story.
They're like, no, let's let it implode. In fact, either let's let it implode or let's just take health insurance away from tens of millions of Americans. That's not leading. That's not representing the best interests of Americans.
So a little history tidbit real fast about Cenk Uygur and his wolf pack, which is named after the Grey Wolves, which was a political movement in the 80s. This political movement was the one who tried to assassinate the Pope. That is all.
I was trying to guide you. We did not have free market health insurance before Obamacare. We haven't had free market health insurance, anything resembling it since, I don't know, 1940 or 50. Even then we didn't. But we do have a free market, or pretty much of a free market, in things like flood insurance, car insurance. So you have some idea how it works. And if you live in California, you aren't forced to buy health insurance for hurricanes. If you live in Florida, you are not forced to buy insurance for earthquakes. A real free market in health insurance would get so many people off the welfare side of it. We could see how it How would it work? There's an exception to Obamacare right now that allows a sort of free market if you say you're a Christian outfit. So and probably any sort of religious group can say, we're in this together. It's not technically insurance. It costs $50 a month, but you don't have to pay for lots of stuff you don't need. It's what's known as health insurance. People put their money together every month. And until you're thinking about this the same way, unfortunately, my party is thinking about it. No, we start with the assumption that there will be a huge government program and make teeny tiny little edits. No, just allow us to buy health insurance the way we buy orange juice, shoes, houses, computers, all these things, cell phones, flat screen TVs, all these things get better and cheaper over time through the magic of the free market. I always feel like I'm explaining to a little Soviet woman after the end of the Cold War how she's going to get bread if the government doesn't provide it. No, it's amazing. It's the free market. And that's what they need to do.
So typically after a difficult election, the leader would try to bring
Ramushka
together. And I don't think it's a partisan point to say that Trump has clearly been focused on his supporters and policies that they want, and is not making any effort to sort of bring over people who are not even with a speech to mollify people who were not originally with him. Two questions. Can he win over some progressives, and should he try?
I mean, I feel like he needs to work on winning over some members of his own party first, because he seems to be having a difficult time with that. But the fact of the matter is that, politics have become so divisive and so incredibly polarized. And I don't think he genuinely has an interest in reaching across the aisle and convincing progressives to work with him. I mean, he's made progressives the enemy. And so I don't really see much hope for that. But what I do somehow now miraculously see is some hope in terms of members of Congress, members of Senate working together to come up with some better solutions. And, he might threaten Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, but I give them a tremendous amount of credit for actually sticking to their guns and representing the best interests of their constituents.
To you? Can he win over some progressives, and should he even try?
I hardly think you can blame Donald Trump for the divisiveness in the country, for Pete's sake. But I mean, obviously he did. He won over, I don't know what you mean specifically by progressives, but obviously he won a lot of Democrats over. Democrats, the old Reagan Democrats. I mean, there was the big Stanley Greenberg. He's the big pollster for the Democratic Party. Went from Yale Law.
I'm sure she's going to bring it up, but it's so funny when people call Trump a racist, because the more people voted for Trump who had also voted for Obama than voted for Hillary, who voted for Obama. If he hadn't won that demographic, he would not be president. So dumb. So I guess he was voted in by all these racists who just suddenly became racist, even though they voted for a black guy. Oh shit, he's blooding out. I was gonna say cripping out, but that wouldn't make sense because it's a red do-rag. Aunt Jemima. Hello, Dade.
I was hoping to get Zero in here, and he's in here. We can. I don't know how much you've been watching this. We've been looking at this Ann Coulter and Ann Casparione debate. I'm going to try.
Hey, hold on, Ogre. Let me jump in and interrupt you for just a quick second, because the moment is now. Dade, I think whenever you come into a stream looking like that, you have got to play the Into the Danger Zone by whatever, from Top Gun. Gonna take it right into
fucking Kenny Loggins. What's wrong with you? If we're gonna do that shit, we're gonna do Sterling Archer. Danger Zone.
No, if we're gonna go that route, it's gonna be Smuggler's Blues.
Damn right, Glenn Fry, baby.
Glenn Fry. He looks.
Okay. Hi, everybody out there. Hello, everybody out there. This is Dade Murphy, the Zero Cool. Ogre, I've watched this, and it's actually more. It was more well composed. Even though I don't agree with it largely, this was more well composed than the whole Cenk versus Ben Shapiro, because this moderator is actually more level-headed, and he is a leftist, by the way, but he's playing by the rules much more so than the moderator was for the Cenk Shapiro, because that guy, fuck him, he was an asshole.
I won't argue with that.
But that doesn't matter. Ben Shapiro wiped the floor with Cenk. It was a slaughter. This really wasn't different either, because you're also dealing with Anna Kasparian and Ann Coulter, who are both very well versed. Whether you like either one of them, don't like either one of them, that's fine. But they're more professional, as to where Cenk severely overreacts because that's his nature. Anna Kasparian, she's a bitch. I don't like her. I don't really care about her.
She's much better, though. She's
more mature, and she can bring her points across infinitely better than Cenk.
Okay, I have to say, when she says don't get emotional, she gives me a boner. I'm not even joking. That is so hot to me.
Well,
that's
you, because I don't think Anna Kasparian's attractive. I don't think either one of them are attractive. Sorry, but they're both, because a lot of people on both sides don't like either one of them. That's fine. That's just the way it is. But again, a credit where it's due. Anna and Ann, very well composed folk, very well composed ladies, and they handle this infinitely more maturely than Cenk versus Shapiro. Cenk was getting pissed off. He was getting insulted. He took it personally.
Chunk takes everything personally because everything is personally to him. Like, he attacks personally. If you say something to him, he automatically assumes it's a personal attack. It's all he knows.
Yeah,
but when it comes to Anna, do you think that Anna is full of shit, like she lies, or because she's obviously dishonest? Whether or not she means to or not is basically my question. Do you think that she is actually dishonest, or that she goes through mental gymnastics to make the facts fit her confirmation bias, even if it means
I got an answer.
She's intentionally dishonest.
Yes.
I've watched some of
willfully dishonest. Thank you.
I've watched some of the Young Turks, and just as research, because I like to know my enemies and how to piss them off. And Cenk, for as emotional as he gets and takes everything personally, he's more earnest. Anna is a straight out bullshit and liar. And she only goes through the mental gymnastics to make things fit to her needs when she's outdone and outgunned. And you'll notice if you watch this, she's not being dishonest. She's going against Ann Coulter, and Ann Coulter is not a pushover. So you got two women on opposing sides who are not pushovers. And so as such, Anna Kasparian knows that Ann Coulter can call bullshit on her in a flash. That's why here in this debate, she's doing more of the mental gymnastic as opposed to being on the show or caught off guard, freaking out, and just straight out lying, which is what her normal MO is. That.
Yeah.
When talking about Ann Coulter's attractiveness, you should also account for her age, dude. And for her age, she's a bombshell. I'm sorry.
Well, and we can stay on that, but I'm with Zero on this one point, and I don't know what he wants to be called, but call him Zero, you're going to confuse the hell out of me. I don't know, but it's irrelevant. Don't matter how they look. Their debating methods are much closer matched than the Shapiro Yeager. And I just do you know is there a timestamp? I hate to just put you under this kind of I hate to just come out and ask you, Zero, but is there a timestamp that really rung a bell in this debate for you? You did
it was really the I had myself on mute. It was really the last 15 minutes of the debate.
Okay, let me back up from that. Maybe I'll even start there when we're ready to let some stuff roll.
Because when you get into the middle or the near end of a debate, you've had everything come before it, and that's the pressure cooker, so to speak. Because you realized you've been against your opponent in the debate for X amount of time, and now you're coming down to the wire in the nitty-gritty, and that's when the chinks in your armor start showing. And again, not to take away from anybody, both ladies well-spoken and professional, but you can also read Barian's facial and upper body language, and she struggles, and she's getting outdone as to where Ann Coulter seems a little more aloof, but she has the more I don't give a shit mentality, because neither one of these people are not getting paid to do this, and they know they're both speaking for their respective sides, so to speak.
Yep.
But Ann Coulter has been on the battlefield longer. And that's not an age thing. That's just a profession thing. And Anna
Kasparian. Got it, too. That's exactly
and I'm just sorry. She's got more poise. So you'll see the chinks in the armor 15 to 10 minutes before the debate's over. And you gotta love the moderator for as leftist as he is. He was very professional.
So I'm going to look around. I don't know where this is going to jump us off, but when we're done bullshitting here in like another couple minutes, I'm going to throw this on right around the 45-minute timestamp, which leaves about 15 minutes. Looks like the moderator is looking over at Anna. So wherever it starts, though, we'll kind of jump because that is a good point. Since you've already watched it, we'd never make it do this. We tried this Zero with Logical Line come on, and we had the Shapiro thing. What's that? It's Thor juice? What does that say? Yeah. Oh, I'm still screen sharing you, dude. I did that to myself too. Don't feel special. What's happening is I'm looking.
He's muted.
I've never seen this guy, folks, and I've been streaming. This is like an old cohort of mine. You know, he was one of the first people ever come on a stream with me. We basically back then there was no.
I'm eating a late lunch, so that's why I'm muted.
There was no kind of structure. Zero was one of the first people outside of the Britisher who's always been about, of course, the schedule and whatnot. Because he's British and got the stick up there, up you know where. But Zero was like the first one to come along and was like, you know, maybe you should think about it could be fun and you could hang out with your friends, but when you're doing this and people are watching, you don't act like you're just a moron in the locker room. You know, it could be some order to it. And so it's just good. So the point is, I was looking at him. It's like, it's fucking Zero cool. So if I was screen sharing you, I don't know, man. Help me out, Lion. You're the one running this thing. You're supposed to be like, dude,
don't pass that shit on me. Hey,
no, when you're running, you're in charge of muting me and anyone else.
All right, shut up. There you go. You've been muted. Shut up.
Should have already muted me by now.
Shut up. Shut up. I asked about the lying because there is a point, and I'll go back on my own and probably do a video about it, where Anna straight up 100% tells a lie. Unequivocal, no question, straight up lies. And I mentioned it kind of in passing earlier, but yeah, I'll go back through and find it specifically. On the morrow. Play that shit.
Maybe Anna believes the things she says, man.
You're muted. You're muted.
Saying, would lead to more racism. It's absurd.
How is anything I said racist?
Rewind a little bit. I want to see if Anna's like.
Pause the stream for a minute. She's doing it. You can tell when she's lying because she's got nothing. That's why I said she can be very courteous and professional, but when you know she's lying, her face gives it away, her eyebrows and her nose give it away because they'll kind of twinge and twitch. That's because she's got nothing.
She does that fake surprise. Like, what?
Exactly.
How could you not already know this?
That's when she goes into bullshit mode, and she doesn't have poker face for shit.
No, I'd poker face though.
I'm sure you would, but that's beside the point.
When you say the settlers created the country, are you including the enslaved Americans as settlers, or is that a separate group?
Yes, I am actually.
That's 150 years later, you retard.
Not settlers in that sense, but I mean, as many people have pointed out, we are not a multiracial country. We are not a multicultural country. We are a biracial country. For 400 years, this country was black and white. And we have had black people here as long as white people.
Is this a biracial country?
And African Americans. Can I finish this point? It seems to have set off the crowd. Look, African Americans obviously got the short end of the stick for about 200 years. This is why I was explaining on the last panel. This is why we have civil rights. This is why we have constitutional provisions. This is why we allow, this is why we have affirmative action. It wasn't the Rainbow Coalition. It was to make up, to redress specific grievances done to African Americans, slavery, Jim Crow laws, and now suddenly, you know, everybody's running across the border and, oh, me too, I'm part of this. No, civil rights are for African Americans. They are not for people who arrived yesterday or last week. We didn't do anything to you. Republicans didn't do anything to anyone.
Okay, okay.
Right there.
I mean, there's just...
Right there, she's caught, and she has no response. I'm sorry, I had to go get some water to drink. But the second she tilts her head and she's like, ah, yeah, no, she's busted. She ain't got nothing.
Yeah, it's that. How could you say that? Oh my gosh, I'm so surprised.
Well, it's the same thing with if you've ever watched Onision go against Blair White or Jeff Holiday. The second he loses it, his eyes glaze over, like, okay, like everything's deniable. That's his
fishing for a lie.
That's him fishing for a lie. That's his giveaway. His eyes glaze over, and he becomes. He tries to have a poker face, but his eyes are glazed. With Anna Kasparian, she's the bullshit of me. I don't hide anything. If I'm going to tell you off, I'll fucking tell you off. I don't give a shit. But I don't debate either because I'm not good at it. But
yeah,
Anna Kasparian is getting embarrassed here. That's all there is to it. She's getting embarrassed. And the whole thing about the early settlers and the slave, I'm sorry to tell you fuckers out there, the early pilgrims didn't have slaves. The people that landed on Plymouth Rock, that kind of shit wasn't going on until the colonies were effectively and firmly established as the 13 colonies. And even then, it was very rare because they didn't have the resources to have indentured servants mostly anyway, as opposed to slaves. And they weren't always black. They were other Europeans. So fuck you.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when he was saying, well, what about and I was like, no, that was 150 years later, because there was indentured servitude, yeah, but there wasn't the black slavery. It's ridiculous. And Straight Sith Male says in the chat that 6% of Americans have slave roots or slave owners roots, which is very true. And then he's followed up by Ploss saying that 100% of humans have slave roots. I hate this fucking argument that because slavery happened to black people 160 whatever years ago, that there's onus today to give them special treatment. No.
No, they're not. They're not
ago,
over.
yes.
They're not even 40 to 50 years ago. Sorry. As of the past 6 generations in America, there have been literally no slaves in accordance to what we view as slavery, for which the American Civil War, by the way, was not fought specifically about slaves. That's just, that's frosting on the cake. It was about economics and the Industrial Revolution. I'm sorry to tell you, black people out there, one, you can
racist.
You're all racist, and you genuinely are if you think that shit was what it was about. Secondly, coming from my grandparents escaping Nazi Germany, you got nothing on me. You can kiss my ass. And thirdly, you forget about all the people that were Polish, Irish, English, and Scottish that came over to America that during those times as well, that were indentured servitudes, if not slaves, especially the white women, because they had nowhere else to go and their husbands weren't there. So they either they had to do it to survive, and if that meant they were somebody's property.
Well, most were indentured servants. Most were indentured servants, and I got to pop in here because here's the problem when you're looking at white and black people as slaves. A slave you were going to own forever. An indentured servant you were going to have for 7 years, in some rare cases 14, but usually 7 years. Man, the percentage of Irish indentured, you mentioned Irish, percentage of the indentured servants from Ireland that just said, okay, I want a boat passage over here. I'll work for 7 years for my pat. That's what most of them were paying off in steerage with the rats. So when they got here, the last year or two, they would work these people to death.
Yeah, and they wouldn't, and some wouldn't even make it to the full 7 years of the
contract.
contract.
The percentage of the people dying was astronomically higher. Something like 25% of the indentured servants died in their last year because they'd work them to death. There you go. That was I'm going to go dark again.
That's great. I'm going to lead off with that before we get back to it. Another thing that people don't seem to think about because they're too you black people out there that are stupid, you're severely egotistical. Americans in general have this egotism, thinking that it's one way or another. You seem to forget about all the Chinese folk that basically busted their asses, came over and basically settled in California to get their own families over here, and what they had to go through, especially doing dirt work as miners in the railroad. And they weren't indentured servitudes. They were basically slave labor, but not in the fact of what you think, because that happened near the middle to the end of the Civil War, going into the Wild West, pre-1900 era America. Sorry, but you also lose again. So get over yourselves. And I don't hear the fucking Chinese saying we want reparations for this bullshit, especially, and if they had beef, they would give it to the fucking railroad.
First of all, Conscious Carical has joined us, my little pussy. Hey man, I'm glad you're here because your accent's awesome, and I hope you enjoyed your vacation. We'll have to talk about that.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm back onto the political topics. It seems seems like a lot of people need their Conscious Carical input in their lives.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know if we could survive much longer than that. So please don't leave for any longer than that again.
What's the shit posting topic today?
Anna Kasparian and Ann Coulter making out.
Pretty much.
Hey, it's the first time I've actually seen Zero use his camera.
Yeah, when are you going to stop being a fuzzy little mammal there in Africa and show your face?
It's only the second time I've seen it. I think he did the face reveal on this stream yesterday with the Britisher. It was pretty cool. But
oh wait! I'm sorry, Ogre. I completely forgot. I meant to say off of what Dave said about the Chinese workers. There was a strike during one of the railroads being constructed out of California headed east of the Chinese workers because they had not been paid in many months. And they got shot. Not all of them, but a couple of them got shot, and they went back to work.
Yeah, and that's technical slave labor right there. So if people really that literally is they're promised a pittance, and they try to budget and do what they got to do to get their family and kids over here, dealing with all the shit that they're doing, and then the railroad basically saying no, fuck you, we're not paying you for whatever reason, which it's basically side pocketing the shit and grifting. And then it's like, oh, well, let's do a revolt. And, to be honest, whether or not that ties in with the Boxer Rebellion, I couldn't tell you. Some revolts with the railroad did happen around the same time as the Boxer Rebellion was happening in China, but they aren't necessarily connected. But still, that's more slave labor and being denied the basic humanitarian needs of the Chinese people doing work that, let's perfectly be honest, is 100,000 times worse than just picking cotton. So
yeah, and can you imagine the headmaster guy? His little peon comes running up, boss. 1 second, boss. The Chinese are revolting, and he's like, yeah, I know, and he's like, no, they're rioting.
There might be a difference there. Well, what I think, what I was thinking about was like maybe backing this up just for that last snippet, gentlemen, so that the Carical can get on at least what Ann just said, that little part about civil rights. Carical actually lives in a place where civil rights need defending, and it is in the transverse of what a lot of people would think of it. Let me see if I can do this audio thing.
And honestly, Carical, you still need to move over here because you're dealing with people that are behaving the way they're behaving. And let's be real, people. If we're going to go back to the slavery issues, again, sorry to burst your fucking bubble, but the people over in Africa that are still there, those are the motherfuckers that their ancestors were the ones that sold your ancestors into slavery for food, resources, and land. Not because
you messaged me the other day. It's like, when are you moving to the US?
Yeah, when are you moving to the US? And you're like, well, I'm fine for now. I'm like, what? Yeah,
you're asking me to leave my home, and I can't do that. Like I've always said, my family's been here since.
This is why we have affirmative action.
I know.
So I'm more African than European. I don't feel any connection to my European roots in terms of I want to go back.
I don't want you to go back to Europe either. That's a catch-22 for you on that, isn't it?
No, definitely. When I was young, I always wanted to move to Germany. I thought Germany was the shit.
No,
like,
not anymore. Yeah, it is shit now, so you're right.
And now I realize Germany isn't the shit. They're just shit. So, and I realized that after actually visiting Germany and talking to the people and just seeing how people live in Germany. And after seeing the kind of police state they live on, I'm like, fuck no, I never want to come live here. No way.
So, all right.
And African Americans, can I finish this point? It seems to have set off the crowd. Look, Africans to come to our culture, and we didn't leave our culture to go to theirs.
I don't know. When you say the settlers created the country, are you including the enslaved Americans as settlers, or is that a separate group?
Yes, I am actually.
They were settlers.
What a terrible question. Like, everybody that was involved helped build the country. It's not like, oh, it's just the people that were organizing the labor. It was the laborers themselves also helped build the country. So that's I don't know if he's actively playing dumb and whether it's actually a genuine question from him, because it's a shit question.
It is a shit question, but when Ann replies, if you notice, for as much as he is kind of acting like an idiot, but again, he's still playing more fair than what the Shapiro-Cenk debate was. He actually is, while he is baiting, he is actually asking a very fair question, because the average person doesn't know the specifics. And when he says, are you sure it's this, this, or this? Ann Coulter's like, yeah, that's exactly this. So it's question and answered, and it's being refined. So anybody can't know, we don't have a clue what you're talking about.
In that sense, but I mean, as many people have pointed out, we are not a multiracial country. We are not a multicultural country. We are a biracial country. For 400 years, this country was black and white. And we have had black people here as long as white people.
Is this a biracial country?
And African Americans. Can I finish this point?
Anna didn't like that.
Seems to have set off. Look, African Americans obviously got the short end of the stick for about 200 years. This is why I was explaining on the last panel. This is why we have civil rights. This is why we have constitutional provisions. This is why we allow, this is why we have affirmative action. It wasn't the Rainbow Coalition. It was to make up, to redress specific grievances done to African Americans. Slavery, Jim Crow laws.
Oh, yeah, I actually have
and now suddenly, you know, everybody's running across the border and, oh, me too, I'm part of this. No. No, civil rights are for African Americans. They are not for
actually, what happened that connects to this, what happened in South Africa was there was a South African politician that tweeted, what was it? I think it was something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, that not everything that came out of colonialism was bad, and she was punished by her party for doing it.
You know, you South
Africans,
you always think everything's about South Africa.
Now, firstly, let me go on record by saying that she's an absolute fucking idiot for tweeting that out in the current South African political climate. Like,
yeah, that's something
I was actually quite surprised. It's terrible judgment in the sensitive climate that we are now, tweeting something like that, even though
she wasn't wrong.
The implication when you say that nothing good came out of colonialism, you're basically saying all the white people that are still in South Africa are a evil that needs to be taken away or that needs to go away.
Well, Anna,
that's kind of implied in that statement.
What she just said, though, I mean, I can't believe she said that where everybody could hear her. I've been saying that for a long time, that there is no racial problems in the United States, not in my life, ever, between black people and white people. The one way, the one positive way that I can look at somebody, I mean, this is positive in my mind. Now, I could be wrong. They might open their mouth and sound like they just came from Tanzania. But in most cases, 99.9% of the time, if I see a black person in this country, they are my American brother. And so whether or not they came here from slavery, I'm sorry about that, but you know, there were Romans.
I can understand. Like, if you were fighting in a war and you were fighting alongside another American and they were an African American, you would fight just as hard and trust them just as much. And you wouldn't even see race. You'd see them as your compatriot.
And not that, I could pick him out 9 times out of 10. Our adversaries have not been black. So another good thing is I could pick him out on the battlefield as my brother in arms also. Because he's a, see what I mean? I wouldn't even have to know him.
That's a very good point.
But yes,
well,
may I ask Caracol a question?
Seeing as nobody on the panel is American except you, maybe no. Tomahawk is also American, but he doesn't seem to be in the conversation right now. Uygur, my question to you is, how?
Wait, I have a question for you.
I'm not living in America, so I have to judge the situation based on what the media reports and what I see in movies, basically. How is patriotism among the African Americans in terms of the sense of patriotism?
It's low.
Is it?
Oh, if you're asking me, patriotism among
No, just from your own experience. I just want
from
to.
from your standard African American, I would. Before I answer that, let Tomahawk, because you didn't think he was in here. He was trying to ask you a question. Let him ask you something, and I'll answer that. Let me think about it for a second.
I was gonna say it's low, man. And you're right about, you know, if you're in the army in a battle or something, it doesn't, skin color doesn't matter. But it's not only that. If you even share a mutual hobby with people of other ethnicities, it's like it disappears. I used to skateboard a lot, and a lot of the kids in my crew were African American, you know, but like they were dudes, and they didn't care if I said nigga. They didn't care. You know what I mean? We were friends. We shared the same interests. They didn't care, dude.
Well, they would probably care if you didn't say certain words.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We were brothers in a different way.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah, Americans need to get that shit out of their minds right now. Motherfuckers, I'm going to tell you right now, Tree of Logic said it best. In America, there are no African Americans.
No.
You have whatever skin tone you have. Get that shit out of, and I'm not busting your ass for saying it. I'm simply saying I hear it all the time, and I have black friends, which helped me go get my car parts today because that's going to the shop. And they said to me, Dade, hey man, you know, you want me to come pick you up? We'll go get the axles. I said, yeah, dude, let's do this. And they're Americans. They get pissed off. They're just like, I'm not African American. I'm fucking born in the mid '70s. I'm an American, goddammit, and I'm getting sick of this shit. And I'm like, well, you got to start telling all those other so-called quote-unquote black folk, and you know, and you got to tell them to stop saying that shit, because they got people that have roots in Southern America. They'll get pissed off at you. They go, don't be calling us African American. We're from the South.
Well, not only that, the label itself is disingenuous. Caracal, you live in South Africa, yes?
Yes.
Which is a country on the continent of Africa, yes?
I see where you're going with this, yes.
Yes, yes. What melanin level would you characterize yourself, sir?
Pretty low.
Pretty low. Okay, so you're white as a baby's ass. Okay. So
no, not really. I don't know if tan really increases your melanin level and how that works, the biological process. But yeah, I'm not like a British.
But you get a lot of sun, man, so that would do it.
Yeah, I'm in the sun all day.
So that's what.
Okay, but you're not.
He's a tan mofo.
But you're not a black man, is the point.
Carry on.
Okay, so anyway, if we're calling air quotes black people in America African Americans, that is to say that the only option coming out of Africa would be a very dark-skinned person.
I've never even thought about that.
Africa.
Oh, I thought about it a lot. I went to school with a kid named Busel, and he was born in Africa. His parents were missionaries. He lived his whole life in Africa. He spoke Swahili. He spoke like 4 languages.
He was white.
Actually, he
was white as could be. On applications, he would put African American. And then they could not say any. He had dual citizenship to I can't remember, Congo.
Here's a doozy puzzle you can give someone. You just ask them, and you use this example. You say, if a guy from South Africa comes to America and his family have lived there for 9 generations for over 400 years, does that person, or do you consider him an African American? They're like, oh yeah, no, of course. And you're like, oh, but he's a white guy. Here's his picture. And you're like, oh fuck, what did I just say?
No,
see, that's a liberal biased term.
It's racist, dude.
It is.
It's horrible, horribly racist.
Logical Line and I are gonna have a chat soon, and we're gonna bust this racist ideology bullshit.
Oh, that would be great. Well, you mentioned Tree of Logic a lot. I was the one that coined the phrase on her stream, incognito.
What about like Jamaicans and Haitians? I wonder how many times they get called Africans.
Well, see, that's Tomahawk. That's a very good point. That was the point I was trying to get to. In Iowa, we have people that literally come from Africa that came in, and they'll kick your ass if you call them African Americans. They go, no, I am from Africa, but I am an American. They're proud to be Americans. Yeah. We've got people that are from the Middle East. We've got them from Jamaica. We've got them from other places. You call them African Americans, they're just going to turn around and give you the middle finger, and they're going to tear into you. And then when you get the black folk around here, they're going to say, what the fuck are you talking about? I was born in Detroit, bitch. And it's like, well, yeah, you're an American. You're not African. And they say, and they take that They take that shit so insultingly, which rightfully they should, because they know it's a derogatory term.
Yeah, the only
Detroit.
people in America that should have a hyphen in any kind of identification are the people that have come here illegally, and it should be illegal hyphen alien. Everyone else is a fucking American.
Well, and speaking of, I have Mexican family that live right next to me. They're literally from Mexico, but they do not identify themselves as Mexicans. They are Americans. And they will say, well, we get some of these people coming from Mexico over here that are illegal. They're illegal Americans because they sure as hell ain't Mexican and they ain't American and they ain't one of us. They're illegals and we want them out of here.
Funny story, because this is the shitpost stream. When I was younger and I first heard the term illegal alien, I freaked out because I couldn't understand like what type of being are these people talking about, because I had no idea what it was.
30-foot robots that transform into cars and cassette players.
No,
and
I remember specifically. I was browsing like movies at the what's the place's name? Like the movie store, basically the South African brand of it. Well, back when you still had to go and get like VHS tapes at the store. But anyway, so I was trying to rent a film, and I saw this one film that looked interesting, and I read the description. It said like an illegal alien was like part of the plot. I was like, oh yeah, this is a sci-fi film. So I got it, put it in, sitting there. I'm like 10 years old, and it's just this heavy drama, and I'm like, what the fuck? Was I scammed?
So what we learned from this story is that Caracal has been racist since he was 10.
All right, well, I have to make my exit. I have family stuff to deal with. Hey, Seth, it's good to see you, man. I'm not gonna bring any drama here, but the other day, Seth, you know why you got in trouble? Because you were cussing, and it wasn't because you were a bad person. It's just a very different set of rules, my brother. So.
Oh, what stream was that?
I think it was ABL. I think.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and you were freaking out, and it's like I just like everybody was on your ass. It's like, no, he hasn't been here. I'm trying to tell him, don't swear, he'll be okay. And you were catching on, and then they banned you. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. So no, you weren't doing anything wrong. It's very formatted for Anthony, but it's not like Hear a Tree where we can just go on tangents and shit.
Yeah, I forget that ABL's that type of progressive, and he's very Christian. So yeah, I get it.
All right, well, I got to get going, guys. It's great.
Thanks for coming by, Zero.
Finish out your discussion. I'm going to watch the replay later, guys.
All right, man. Yeah, we'll see if we can get through this last 10 minutes or so. Thanks a lot, brother.
Now, just remember, Anna Kasparian's face. She'll start tilting her head to the sides, and she'll kind of look like she's just farted or whatever. But her telltale signs of lying are she'll just kind of blank out.
Yeah.
And watch the last 15 to 10. She's got no ammo whatsoever.
Yeah, this is going to be beautiful. Thanks a lot for stopping by, bro. Take care of your business and hope to see you soon. Shalom.
Yeah, car shit is always fun.
Gonna take it right into the danger zone.
Last week, we didn't do anything to you. Republicans didn't do anything to anybody.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, there's just, wow, I don't even know where to start. So in that long-winded rant, you proceeded to insult people in a racist way and then have the audacity to say that our immigration policies are racist or allowing more immigrants in would lead to more racism. It's absurd.
How is anything I said racist?
How is what you said? You just talked about people speaking Spanish and how parents don't want to hear that because they're concerned that their kids might want to end up working at McDonald's. You're assuming that people are coming into this country.
No, you weren't listening.
Yeah.
No, there was a testimony before Congress from LA communities where black witnesses were going in saying, my kid applied to the local McDonald's, they wouldn't hire him because he didn't speak Spanish. It is mostly black communities that are being overwhelmed with illegal immigrants, and to be mocking them and saying they're afraid of Spanish people, I think is very dismissive and insulting.
Well, here's what happens in this hold on. You like the free market, right? You love the free market. I love the free market as well, as long as you don't have let me finish my point.
Keep going.
Okay. In a free
I actually want
market,
to hear what some of these guys are
of
shouting
course,
in the
there
crowd.
will
I'm
be
very
competition
curious.
for certain jobs, right? And so the most skilled worker is likely to get that position. Being bilingual is a skill. You're able to communicate.
Pause. My wife and I got into this. It wasn't a fight. It was just a pretty solid debate for quite a while. Now, we don't really fight, but we do have debates sometimes, because she didn't understand from an economic standpoint why everyone should be allowed to come into America. If they got a rough shake and they were born in Mexico, they should get the opportunity to come to the beautiful land that is America. And I was telling her that, yeah, it may be noble to want to bring everyone under the fold and be able to help them better their lives. The reality is you're taking away positions that were previously filled by high school kids, undereducated blacks, the quote unquote marginalized groups. Now you have millennial generation, the most underemployed generation in the history of the United States because of illegal immigrants. So when you have kids going to college that have not had any work experience in high school, they are much more easy to mold to the social justice rhetoric because they have very little real life experience because they couldn't find a fucking job. An employer will not hire a 16-year-old, especially a 16-year-old black kid, and risk them getting a hair up their butt and not coming into work versus the 35-year-old Hispanic with 4 kids. They have responsibilities they must take care of. They will be at work every day.
They do start to get a
foothold.
What? When they do start to get a foothold in life, it's like a downward spiral because they're going to eventually get a job and then save up money for college to go to, like, lesbian dance study or something fucking stupid like that.
Yep.
And end up with a shit ton of debt, and then they want
and no job again.
And then they protest for free tertiary education.
Right, and you know the reason why we have these stupid
It's
fucking degrees?
self-destructive, man.
It is. It's because when our generation, I assume I'm a little older than most of you, when we were going to school, we were told, get a degree, doesn't matter what it is, as long as you have a degree. Because our parents' generation, that was true. But when the economy shit the bed and everybody has a bachelor's degree, yeah, exactly. When everybody has a bachelor's degree, now you're competing for the fry cooker job with a PhD.
Yeah, don't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And so they get all these shit degrees because they're easy to do. Oh, all I need to do is get a bachelor's degree. Doesn't matter if it's in underwater basket weaving. I just need the bachelor's degree. Well, no.
Now I have all these degrees and I'm still nowhere. And all I ended up with is a bunch of debt.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go protest about paying off my debt for me. Help me, government.
Oh, my wife was in the sciences and I was in the arts.
Please take away more of my freedoms and pay my debt.
Yeah. I don't use
I'll
my
sacrifice.
Degree. She does use hers.
Go ahead, Ed.
Oh, no, that was it. I mean, I was in the arts and my wife was in the sciences. Now, years later, she uses hers still to this day. And I don't use my degrees. I never really have.
Typical.
Yeah, well, I use one. But.
The thing about the arts is that you either need to get discovered in Hollywood, which is statistically
liberal arts, psychology, and divinity.
And I don't mean just as an actor. I mean, in any of the arts, that they go into the big budget stuff. Hollywood is kind of just, euphemism. Nah, that's not the right word. You know what I mean? You need to get discovered and find a niche market, basically. Or you need to be able to have another set of skills, like business skills, to start your own studio, or you have to be able to piggyback your art off of something else. This idea of just getting an art degree and you're good to go. No, it's statistically unlikely that just the art degree will help you succeed.
Well, I have one friend that she actually has a successful job out of her arts degree, but she's a curator at a museum here in Albuquerque, and as you know, like New Mexico is fucking huge with the art scene, so she makes pretty good money, but it's not anything really to talk
but out
about.
of a class of 50, there might be one, if they're lucky, that gets a job like that.
Yep. And once they get it,
it's not like people are going to be RNs or nurse anesthetists or radiologists. Those jobs, there's a waiting list to go to your clinicals. They're there.
And I would assume that a position like that, a curator in an art field, would be, I had a friend who had a degree in human resources, and she said it was the worst decision she ever made, because once someone gets that position of HR for a company, they never leave. They don't quit. It's a plush job. So you have class after class after class graduating, and the job pool's steadily decreasing because nobody's going to quit. It's not like you're a burger flipper. It's a useless degree. She couldn't find a job. She ended up working in a call center.
And also, there's something I wanted to point out on that. And Anna was talking about how people are supposedly scared of people speaking Spanish. Well, that's fucking stupid. Well, why would you be scared of somebody speaking Spanish? Like, that's dumb. I know a bunch of people, and living here in New Mexico, us Hispanics, we don't necessarily get along with the Mexicans. We have a bunch of derogatory names for the guys. And it's just kind of silly. I think that's silly to be. It's kind of like the Islamophobia shit. Nobody's scared of that.
Yeah.
Except you should be scared of terrorism, obviously.
When I was stationed in San Antonio, and the first time I saw a billboard written in Spanish, it annoyed me because I'm from Oregon. Everything was in English. But then as I grew up and realized that the reason why it was written in Spanish is because that was the target market. I was not the target market, so it didn't matter if I could read the fucking sign or not. Get over myself is basically what I learned.
Yeah, well, that's a good note to.
Yeah, you learn you're not a special snowflake.
We tried to get through this whole dealio, but duty.
Are you out of time?
I'm getting really close to it. I've got a few things to do. I grow a lot of the squash. It grows very quickly. I grow, hard squash, summer squash, and winter squash. But right now,
I grow cricket.
The zucchini's coming. Cricket. The zucchini's coming in. All kinds of that kind of produce is coming in. I mean, hundreds. And so I pick it, and then I've got to can it, man. I'm gonna eat that later. I can't eat it all the day.
Do you ever do a farmer's market type trip, Ogre?
By the time I do my own stuff, I feed my chickens a lot of the stuff that grows in my garden too. That's why I have so much of it. And then, my mother-in-law, my aunt, my cousins,
are all buried on the property.
They're good fertilizer for the garden I was talking about. No, but they eat, produce also. And they like what I grow. So I give a lot away is what I'm saying. But I probably
eat produce because they're farm animals.
Probably could easily take some stuff that I just don't really have the time. You know what I mean? That entails going there. You pay like $15 at the farmer's market right close to here, and then you sit there and people come and I'm not into that.
Yeah, let's be real. You'd have to leave the house and stop streaming. Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, well, I sell a lot of eggs, and people do buy tomatoes. Usually, is what's pretty big. But
I knew you were a tranny selling your eggs.
Yeah, well, that's a big seller. I mean, I do $2 a dozen. It's not bad for the barter. I think it's a little more than they cost in the supermarket, but I can't keep them. The chickens don't lay them fast enough, and I have somewhere around 100 hens, 115. Got some barred rock hens. They lay some little eggs, but man, those suckers are so good.
Like banny hens?
Yeah, I said barred rock. Banny hens is what I meant. Yeah. They're the best eggs. Man, they're so good. I haven't eaten any of the birds themselves, but I'm sure that's going to come down to that point. They seem muscly.
So if you haven't eaten them, but you're saying they're so good,
the eggs,
how good are they?
The eggs are good. Yeah.
See, I was going with the you gonna fuck that chicken?
Yeah, Ernie Ernesto. I sent you that, man. That's who you remind me of.
Yeah.
That was broadcast.
Just imagine
air.
like a hybrid, a chicken ogre hybrid.
This is how it goes. This is how it goes, Carrickle. The weather guy's like, and tomorrow we're expecting some clouds to come into the New York City area and cover all the boroughs, and it's going to be light rain. Make sure you take your umbrella. And right as soon as he's done there, Ernie Ernesto, the camera goes to him. He says, "It takes a tender man to make such a forecast. Keep fucking that chicken."
Live on air.
All right, man. And he said all kinds of crazy stuff like that, but it's just a thing. I don't know why he told him to keep screwing the poultry, but it was hilarious, man. I tell you what, if you've never seen that. Yeah, I got to leave. So this is Lions thing, I'm just going to say my last words on this. Don't believe anybody. Look into it for yourself, and I'll let you boys wrap it up however you want, and I'm leaving.
Caracal, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ConCaracal. You can come to my YouTube channel, where I upload on a 1 to 2 week basis. Or you can come say hi on RTYT Sucks on Reddit. Come become part of the community. We're 6 members away from 800.
Well, I will join that. I haven't done that yet. I don't really do the Reddit. Since this is Ogre's channel, obviously you guys know who Ogre and where he is. So Sith, do you do YouTube, Twitter? What do you do? What's your thing?
I'm just a pain in the ass Twitter commentator. Twitter and yep, stream whore.
All right, so you have a Twitter then?
Yeah, it's straight _ Sith.
Okay, that's easy enough. And butt sniffer. Tom. That picture, dude. That picture.
Huh.
Yeah, that's me in real life.
Really? Where can people find you?
I have no plugs, dude.
No plugs.
Okay.
Just Tomahawk who swings by sometimes.
Well, you're fucking
hilarious. You have a
dude.
Twitter, though.
Huh? What?
Yeah, you have a Twitter, though.
Yeah, but I don't want, like, I don't know. It's not that it's private or anything. There's no reason in me giving it out.
Yeah, and if you want to hear a lot more of some stuff like this, just swing by on some random day, maybe next week or the week after that. We'll have the Lion come back on, and maybe he'll want to dissect a debate or talk about some current SJW issues. Seems to be on the top of his list. As far as I go, I'm going to try to be good to my friends, my family members, my loved ones, and be quick to say I'm sorry. Y'all know the rest of it. Have a wonderful day.
Oh, hey,
Bye.
let me do a plug for my Sunday show with Thorn real quick. Yes, we do Sunday 12 noon Thorn Inside YouTube channel. The podcast is called To Be Determined, and we actually do like serious podcasty stuff. But this week we're doing transgender versus transtrender, and we have a transgender guest who we will be picking her brain on the distinctions and what it really means, etc. That's Sunday 12 noon, Thorn Inside's channel. Thank you. Bye bye.